Hey, how are we doing, everybody? We got Aaron Pynn, the man, the myth, the professor. He is here. How we doing, Aaron?
I'm waking up. It's been a long week.
Aaron took a nap today, and I'm very jealous. I really wanted to. I was stuck on parent duty while my wife was out having an MRI done, and
Oh,
I felt myself just really wanting to nod off today. But this is the sort of thing that excites me. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we can discuss. I'm glad we got friends here like Sardis and Flickering Waves, Dustin and
you just
Eric. Hope everybody's having a good night. We got a lot to go over. I mean, this week was one of those full weeks. We got Arrow, we got Screen Factory, we've got 11 different OCN partner labels, and it's going to be a good long conversation. What's going on, Jeff? Movies by E and John and Couch is here. Um, how's everything been? I've noticed that a lot of the videos you've been putting out are a lot of the shorter videos, and I certainly appreciate
me too, actually.
that.
Well, the thing that I'm starting to realize is that as much as I love doing my live streams and I do, I get tired. So but the thing is, I thought, okay, well, I'm doing some shorter videos. That's going to make me less tired.
Right.
No, it's just I realize now I got to do more videos. But it's just how part of the algorithm too when you on like hope to capture like people for like a 10-minute video, as opposed to some people won't come in for like
Right.
a long one. So
Yeah.
sometimes that's good. But I usually like to have things that I'm passionate about. And recently, I guess I've been passionate a bit. So that's been fun.
Well, speaking of things you've been passionate about, one of my pickups for this week that I already showed my patrons, I usually only share pickups with them, but I set one aside. I said, Aaron's going to be on the show. I got to share this one with him. I just ordered something from the John Carpenter web store. It's only for him. And I got in his science fiction comic, and it
Oh,
is
that is good.
autographed by Mr. Carpenter. And the art in here is pretty dang good. I mean,
Who's the artist on that one?
let's see. Of course, there's like 5 names on the front, and I'm not sure if they all are. Let me. Pencils and inks by Andres Esparza, colors by Sergio Martinez, cover art by Tim Bradstreet.
Okay.
Yeah, nice little
Yeah, that's
set.
like Wall Street.
I am I'm a little out of the comic game because I've not been doing it as long, or not been doing it for a while. I used to do a lot more, but I miss some of them. I think there's some really good stuff out there, and I'm always glad to see you championing those.
I love it. Like this weekend, by the way, guys, this Saturday is the first Saturday in May. The first Saturday in May is free comic book like day. It happens once a year, and local comic shops, they're not much like if the physical media you're collecting. It's a niche market.
Yep.
So if you can go in and like grab a couple of the free comics, and if you do, pick up a
Buy
comic or
something,
graphic novel or
please.
something. Yeah, because it's not an easy thing to do. And if you're doing that in this day and age, if you're a video store, if you're a comic book shop in this day and age, it's more than likely a labor of love. You're
Right.
not breaking the bank on it. So yeah, I definitely recommend. I have a comic store for real quick. So, like as you know, like because packing up stuff and whatever, like money's been kind of tight.
Yep.
So I had a site for omnibuses. Omnibuses, by the way, guys, are these big, oversized, like collectible editions comics, but they can be very expensive. So I had this site, and I used to go to it all the time. And these have like used and like kind of cheap ones and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, perfect. I found House of Secrets, so I'm too. So great one, this mystery anthology. If you like the horror stuff, you're gonna like this.
Nice.
I was so excited. I'm like, okay, so I can wait because it's one of the sites not a lot of people go to. And that same day, this guy comes onto my Omnibus Facebook page. And I hate him. He's my nemesis right now. And he's like, hey guys, look at this site for omnibuses. And I'm like, you mother. So needless to say, I don't have the bones to get it at the time. So I said, oh, don't worry. I guess, people go for the popular stuff, the Justice League stuff that nobody's going to go for that.
Right.
So it goes. This week comes up, and people have kind of forgotten it. and I see a bunch of stuff pop up. Some Batman stuff comes up, and Doom Patrol, original Arnold Drake's big set, and really nice, but nice price. Wait, the guy comes up on the Omnibus page. Hey guys, guess what? Plasters it over there.
Of course.
So, like, if you find a good deal, it's nice to let people know sometimes, but don't be that guy. Don't be a d-bag. I was so mad, man. I was like, I sent this picture to my mom actually of a guy punching like a Kirby bell.
I almost feel like this is exactly what has happened with Orbit, because they were kind of a really good kept secret for a while, and now everybody is scouring them, and a lot of the good deals are gone very quickly.
I hate when that happens. Like, you get those like kind of under the like, oh, this is a nice one, this is what I can go to. And the thing is, like, if you live in a great area where you can buy, like, go into a shop and get movies, or you can go to a comic store and get like big editions and stuff like that, you're super lucky.
Right.
But there's some of us that don't live in those areas, so this is our go-to. This is what we got.
Exactly.
But when you put it out there on blast, then everybody's got it. And it's not the person that lives in a small community like I do that's getting it. It's the person that's buying them and flipping them, or buying them and can't afford to get the special edition. So yeah, screw that dude. So there we go. That's my story.
I'm going to check in with a few more. Mike says, is this where the real people are? Mike, you're here, so now it is. Sardis, his last film watched was La Sirga by William Vega, a Colombian film. Interesting. And Hilton says, happy Cinco de Mayo. Now that I have kids, I forgot it was Cinco de Mayo completely. Hopefully everybody is celebrating out there. Let's see. Antoine's here. What's going on? John says, my uncle has Amazing Fantasy 15.
Are you serious?
Yep, it's in maybe good condition at best, but still, if you know why, this one is important.
Oh my god. I'm the biggest Spider-Man fan in the world, so Anton, yeah.
What's going on, Bifer? Let's see. I think Maximus says he is here. Evening, everybody. Christopher Silvestri is here from Facebook. I decided to try to stream live on Facebook and Twitter at the same time tonight, so we're trying that for the first time. Glad he's here, and Brian's here. So we got a lot going on, but Aaron has a fun pickup to share. You want to share about that box set?
I got two, but I'll share this one first.
Sure.
First time I got something in a while, so I'm excited. So my good friend George from over in the UK sent me this for my birthday. My birthday was on March 31st, but you pre-ordered it, and this is the Species set that just came out from 88 Films.
God, those colors,
gorgeous, man. And inside of this, by the way, there's the 4 films. There's lobby cards. There's a double-sided poster. There's a booklet that I can't show because of nudity, because it's Species. But it's great. And the cool thing is, I'm from Newfoundland. My accent should probably give that away. And the lead actress in the first 2 films is Natasha Anstridge, who grew up, and she's from Newfoundland as well.
Nice.
So that was super cool. The other thing I picked up, the one thing I got that I actually was the Shoutscope set.
That's right.
And so excited to get this.
Yeah. Oh. Speaking of Shoutscope, Asian Movie Enthusiast is here. What's going on, Eric?
Hello.
And Lissa. And Warlock says, I have to grab that Species box set. I've only heard great things about it. So everybody, if you're interested, obviously we're going to be talking about Species tonight as one of the announcements, but it's an interesting time because we don't know if the rest are going to get another release, and some of those other things are out of print in the US. So if you're interested, I'd grab it.
Oh yeah, and like the thing is, even though it's locked, it seems to be locked. The important thing to tell you guys is this: go region free. It'll change the way you collect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of going region free, how about we go into some announcements?
Ooh.
So, first one that we got last week on Friday, 88 Films posted this picture of a classification certificate that they got for House on the Edge of the Park, and they announced that they are going to be releasing the uncut version on 4K soon. What do you think on House on the Edge of the Park?
Well, this is a favorite of mine. I think out of the movies that were put out by with David Hess David Hess plays the sleazy kind of bad guy role.
Yep.
I'm gonna give you a hot take here.
No, this is better than the one you're going to say.
This is the best of them.
Yeah.
I truly think that this is one that really, really got to me when I saw it. And I don't mean like in a bad way. It was a really good, really well done film. The girl at the beginning that he assaults, I guess is the best way to put it. That's his wife, or his wife to be. I think they met on the set, but he doesn't like to talk. He didn't like to talk about it. I know. I actually got to speak to him a few times before he passed on through Facebook. Wow. He was a really, really nice guy. He's a musician. Was a musician as well. He did some music for some films too. But he actually directed a Christmas horror film as well that I got in my collection. But this one here, guys, I love this. I'm a huge like House on the Edge of the Park fan.
It's a good one.
I'm like, don't go to print before I can afford to get it.
Neil, what's going on? Glad you're here with us tonight. Couch wanted to bring up Species 2. Just watched it recently. So many grisly kills. And for those that have never seen any of the Species movies, they are they're sexy movies, and they are well done. This is one of those franchises that they do get a little cheesier, but it's worth it to watch all four, I think.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like, I'll be honest with you, there's a slight dip in quality in, I think, 3. Yeah. But 4 kind of comes back up and brings up
Mountain again. It's like Wreck in that sense for me.
Yeah. But even like a not as good as the first 1 or 2 Species, it's still a fun watch.
There's a lot to get out of those. After 88 Films announced that, we started getting some Arrow announcements, and the first one that we have posted here is Giallo Essentials Volume 3, the Black Edition, and this is featuring Smile Before Death, The Weapon, The Hour, The Motive, and The Killer Reserved 9 Seats. Aaron, you and I have talked about Giallo a lot, so what do you think about this one?
It's a great set. I'm excited about this. The first 2 sets were kind of just were regurgitations of stuff that was already put out, but were great for people that didn't have them. The Killer Reserve 9 Seats is probably the most famous one of these 3 Giallos if you're if you watch Giallo. The other 2 I think I've seen, but I'm kind of curious about. At least I'm not sure if I've seen one of them. So that's
I don't think I've seen either of them.
Oh, see, if you can find Giallo that you haven't seen, that is such a good thing, because.
And this is the cool thing. They released 2 of these sets before that were all re-releases. These are 3 new Giallo movies, 2 Arrow. In fact, I don't even know if one of these might have had a Blu-ray release before. I'm not sure, but I don't think any of them did.
No,
I may be wrong there.
I might have gotten 9. Got like a 9. Got a DVD release, but I don't think. And I mean like a cheaper DVD release, like one of those set things.
Jeff was saying, was the Vinegar Syndrome edition 4K? He's asking about House at the Edge of the Park. They did not put that out. Severin did, and Severin's was only Blu-ray. So, no, this would potentially be a big upgrade. But also, we haven't seen an 88 Films 4K in hand yet, so we're not real sure on how their quality is going to be. I'm assuming pretty good. They're usually pretty good about picture quality.
Oh, yeah, like they've been, like, they've gotten way, way better over the years from the start of 88 Films, of course, like as every company does. Because what they do now is some of the stuff they put out is just
exactly
amazing.
And even the Jackie Chan stuff that really started to take off for them, the Shaw Brothers stuff, it all looks great. It's all pretty well done nowadays. So go ahead.
Ken said that the Killer Reserved had a Camera Obscura Blu-ray release. I'll be honest with you. I never see Camera Obscura anywhere, and I don't own any. I almost don't know what it's released because, like, I don't know the company that well. They're from where are they from? Like Germany or
somewhere over there? Yeah, I'm not even sure on that. I don't think I have any either. What's going on, nerd? Glad you're here. This set, by the way, is going to have brand new 2K restorations from the OCN for Smile Before Death and The Weapon, The Hour, The Motive. It's got a 2K restoration from the OCN of the Killer Reserve 9 Seats. Why was that separated? I wonder if that is... the first 2 are brand new restorations. So that must be exactly what it is. The Killer Reserve 9 Seats has the same restoration as that previous Blu-ray release, probably. And then we got a new audio commentary with Troy Howarth and Nathaniel Thompson. Always exciting. And let's see, we got some interviews, audio commentary on the second disc from Alexandra Heller Nicholas, which is on all kinds of releases lately. And
She's
then
really
Kat
good commentary.
Ellinger, she's from up there. Is that what you said?
So, well, Alexandra Heller Nicholas is getting like her commentaries are getting around. She's really good.
Yep.
Actually,
Yep.
I'll agree. Troy Howarth, who's I got a few books of actually here. Excellent stuff with Nathaniel Thompson, and Kat Ellinger is like a legend.
Yeah, this is the best collection of commentary performers basically that we could ask for in a box set like this.
It only could get better if we were doing it, man. There you go.
I wish. Yeah, that'd be nice. We got some video interviews with actors. Overall, this seems like just a really great release. And if you don't have either of the Giallo box sets that came before this, it's an interesting set because it's a hard box and it's got a little slipcover on it, and it's going to house all three at once. They're nice. I mean, they're fairly high quality.
Well, Arrow for me puts it the best quality box sets, like bar none. The most interesting box sets I think are put out by Indicator because there's such a wide range.
Yeah.
But 88 Films does the best, and when it comes to like more mainstream type box sets, that's 88 Films, like kind of niche. But Arrow, over far and large, puts out the best box sets that you can imagine. Like I thought it was going to be Criterion when they put out like the Bergman set, and I'm like, oh my god, Criterion's going to do a bunch of these Bergman style sets. No, just for Bergman, I guess. But like Arrow, like release after release, their Gamera set, the Demajan set, the Herschel Gordon Lewis sets that they put out, and they put out 2 massive sets for Herschel Gordon Lewis, if you can believe that, right?
That was an odd one because they had a limited, another limited, and then a standard released years later. So that box set has been milked to death.
Oh, it's such a good set. Do you have it?
I literally just got rid of my last version of that this last week. So
the documentary.
They're all really good stuff in there. It's a great release. I just don't see myself watching them again. And I had somebody that was dying to have it, and I still had the Shock and Gore set. So
oh wow. So yeah,
just sent that one away.
But it went to a good home, so there you go, right?
It did. Another collector, and got a good deal, and he's going to be very happy. Then we got the second announcement, which this one is genuinely really intriguing for me. Coming on July 19th, The Righteous from 2021. And the synopsis on this, which really pulled me in a little bit. A former priest, Frederick Mason, anguished by the tragic death of his young daughter, finds himself wrestling with his religious convictions when a mysterious young man appears wounded on his doorstep in need of assistance. After he and his wife Ethel welcome him across the threshold and into their household, Frederick sees an opportunity for redemption in this mysterious and troubled lost soul who might just be an emissary from God, or maybe the devil. What do you think of this?
Intriguing. I mean, I have not seen this movie, so this one is new. I love the cover. My God, the cover's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really well done.
It's one of those that I pick up. And another time, if this was a couple years ago, like most of the stuff that you're going to mention right now from Arrow, they would have been all pre-ordered.
Yeah,
like without even blinking. Like this one right here, I probably would have got like on the next Arrow sale type thing, even if it wasn't on sale, just to get the Arrow points. Order from Arrow, by the way, guys, you get Arrow points, which is really good and it adds up. Unfortunately, sometimes the sale items you don't get the points on, which kind of sucks. But who's acting this one?
It's a lot of smaller names. It's Henry Czerny is in it, Mark O'Brien, Mimi Kuzik, and let's see, the writer, director, and actor is Mark O'Brien, who's in it. It is just one of the indie horror that they've been putting out, like they did. They've done the 2 from that family. What is the title of that one? The Deeper You Dig. That family, they've put out 1 or 2 from them. It's basically just indie, modern, contemporary horror that they're putting out, which is good. I mean, they need a place to go. I'm absolutely fine with that.
Oh, 100%. Czerny's a fantastic actor. I almost worked with him once, actually, on a miniseries that I stupidly, when I was too young, I turned it down. And back in the acting days, guys. But incredible actor, an amazing actor, in everything he does. He's just, and I guess a lot of people, you guys from horror, are probably going to know him from that recent horror film that was done with what's her name? We know where they're chasing her around the house because they got this game company. Basically, they got a company of games, and she picks the card of.
Oh, is that Ready or Not?
Yeah, so he's the dad in that. He's the dad of Ready or
Oh,
Not.
interesting.
So he was in a mini series, really good one, called The Boys of St. Vincent's, and was shot in St. John's, Newfoundland. And it was
Nice.
about there was a Catholic scandal that happened, and he was like one of the priests in that. And he did an amazing job.
This seems like a very similar title for him then.
Yeah, well, not as such a good priest in that one.
Right. Ragnar says, "I miss Arrow releasing the window boxes that they did. Those were nice."
I love the window box. I would like to see them come back in like kind of a special edition. For a while, they did after they stopped doing them. Yeah, every once in a while they do like a special window box edition. I think the last one might have been like zombie flesh eaters, but I would love to see it come back. Like just to do every once in a while.
That was a long time ago too.
It was a long time ago, but it was a good one, man. I love the window boxes. I got a few of them. I got one DVD window box. No, I got a couple DVD window boxes and a few Blu-ray window boxes, and some from the Arrow Academy, where they had kind of a black case as opposed to the white case that they had for the other ones.
You were talking about Arrow making great box sets. Warlock says Imprint do very well with their box sets as well. Definitely in competition for the top. The only thing I will say about Imprint, and to be honest, like Vinegar Syndrome kind of falls prey for this too. I happen to have a box set that I know you have, and I think I'm the one that talked you into this because we talked about it at the sale. I've got Primetime Panic, and this thing is literally a cardboard box only made to house 3 discs, 3 cases on the inside. And to be frank, this probably didn't need 3 different cases. We could have had like an extended slip box type of thing for one of their regular slip releases and got everything in there. I like that they have their own cases for sure, but the other side of me is I'm running out of space. And with Imprint, like the collaboration set, it takes up the space of like 10 Blu-rays because it's got 8 different cases on the inside, plus a book.
Arrow used to fall prey to this early on. The initial release of Russ Meyer's box set that came out was literally like 17 DVDs.
Yeah.
But when they redid it, they did like this book, and it was still like each had its own like thing, but exactly.
Something else just fell, but the re-release.
Yeah, the re-release is great, and actually had an extra movie in it as well.
It's all trays for individual movies.
But yeah, Imprint is a bit pricey. I'm going to be honest. Out of all the companies that are out there, I wanted to get some, but they always fall outside my price range because they are, they're the most expensive company I think going right now. Like out of the boutique labels, if I was to think of, I can't think of a company that's more expensive than them, and I mean that includes Criterion.
I'm not sure about the Canadian the transfer rate there, but I know for a fact in the US that is not true. The way that the conversion works, if you price out just a single limited release from them, each one after the conversion comes out to about $25, which compared to other stuff, that's pretty damn good. The only real problem is shipping starts at about $20.
That's the thing. You've got to take that into consideration too, right? When it comes to that, and shipping,
not necessarily, because you can order it from Orbit and you absorb some of their shipping prices, but it only raises the cost to $30 a piece.
But you also have to. There's people watching this from all over the world,
right?
And I'm Canadian, so for me, like shipping is exponentially more expensive,
right?
So like
and you're going to get nailed when it comes past the border too.
Every time. Like I worked a couple of companies. One of them is in Australia. I worked with Umbrella. Well, I worked with Umbrella a bit. And when I get stuff come from them, they say, "Well, you get free." No, I don't get any free movies because I pay for them. And I get hit quite hard and quite heavy with shipping. Right now, anything that comes from Australia gets. I'm guessing Warlock probably does too because he's also Canadian. Gets hit with the shipping from anywhere like there.
I understand and agree. Yeah, that's the hard part about all this. Is certain things can be relative for one place, but man, it skyrockets depending on where you are.
And I'm going to Morocco, where I'm literally going to have to fly to another country to buy movies and put in my suitcase and bring it back. So that's even more expensive, right?
Yeah, that's going to get pretty bad. The next Arrow title is Hell High, and they announced 2 different slipcovers for this. This is one of those situations where I don't know about you, I prefer the standard slip for this. This is the standard slip with these
Okay.
5 characters on the front, and then this is the limited edition slip, which I believe is the original poster art for this.
I
Or
don't know. I like them both actually.
yeah, this is under the Raging Fury title. That's why this one is a little bit different.
Like I'm not a huge slip type person. I want to know what's under.
Yeah,
Like
same.
what's because if say for instance this regular one is underneath it, then I'll get the limited edition because it's different artwork. Like I'm not a slip cover type of guy. Like I like them when the art's different.
Right.
So it's going to matter what's inside the slip. So if this art is on the inside as well, then I want the other edition. But if that edition there is the limited edition is exclusive and there's no artwork on the inside, then yeah, get the limited. But if it all depends on what's inside.
If this is anything like the past, this art will be on the inside, but also on the flip, they will have another Hell High art. But the what is it, Raging Fury? That art is probably exclusive just to that slip and is not on the inside.
That's what I'm thinking. They'll probably use. Do you know the old kind of cheesy Hell High one with the teenagers in?
That's probably the one they're using.
That's it's not a good like one, but there you go.
But it exists. Hell High's from '89, and if you don't know it, it's this is one that if you're into a lot of the '80s horror, you're probably going to want this one. It's got Breaking Bad's Christopher Cousins in it, and this is one that a lot of people have been waiting a long time for. This has a new 2K restoration from the OCN. It's got new audio commentary with the director, producer, co-writer, archival commentary with that same person, but the big one for me, archival introduction and commentary with Joe Bob Briggs. I love when they're able to license those.
Yeah, so Joe Bob did a series of commentaries. Right, like there's 3 or 4 of them for this company. Hell High was one of them. The neat thing about it for this release, and I'm going to guess, is that this is probably going to be uncut, and the release that was on DVD isn't. I know because I own it. So yeah, but definitely an exciting one for me. Like this Yellow set, this one here. I know that eventually, like whether I get to get the limited edition cover or not, both of those are things that are going to be in my collection. I actually really like this film. Some people found it a bit dry, but I didn't actually. I kind of dug it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's very dry. I think this is a good one.
And an underlooked one too, which is really good to see.
Well, it's been kind of hard to watch. I mean, even that I feel like that DVD went out of print fairly quickly.
I found mine at a secondhand place that had a handful of DVDs in the back by some tires. That's where I found my Hell High. And when Vinegar Syndrome did their announcements and did the Horror High, whatever it was announcement, I thought it was this movie and got extremely excited. Then, weirdly, this movie then actually gets announced.
We get a double dose.
Actually, I'm like, well, it actually is coming out.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Mike asks, "What is Orbit?" I talk about Orbit, Grindhouse, and Diabolic a lot because they are 3 of the retailers in the U.S. Orbit DVD is the website, orbitdvd.com, and you can go there. They have a 3 free coupon code where if you buy 3 items, you get free shipping, and they get pretty much everything. The only difference compared to like Grindhouse and Diabolic is they don't do pre-orders. But I did a whole video with Mark from Orbit. Probably about 2 months ago now. I'd go back and watch that. He's a wealth of knowledge.
That was a good video, actually. I watched that one.
Thanks.
Is that shipping free in Canada?
He actually answered that in the video and said that internationally it is not free.
I don't know.
He is looking at a way to say if you purchase a minimum amount, then it will be free.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, like big companies right now, Kino used to have a free shipping option. Now they don't. And I understand it because the company that I work for as well, our shipping is still free, but it's a big company. But it's got a lot more expensive when it comes to shipping costs for across the board right now. Everything's more expensive right now, man.
Yeah, and it seems like for a lot of places they lagged behind the U.S. Postal Service raising their prices, so it was really expensive for the U.S. to send out. but for a while it was still on the cheap side to send in. So everybody was getting a little miffed that they were still getting charged a whole lot of money. But it's crazy. I mean, I had to send something up by you fairly recently, and I feel like it was about £3, but it was like small. It was just like two little box sets, and it ended up costing me like $40 to ship
Oh
just
my
those two
God.
items. Yeah, and it's crazy. Next Arrow announcement is the big one for the month. We are finally getting Dario Argento's Tenebrae in 4K. This is the limited edition box set with all of the good stuff that comes with it. This is, I mean, they're both limited edition, but this is the non-site exclusive version. And then they have the site exclusive version with the original art on here. And I mean, they're both just strikingly beautiful. These are going to be UK exclusives. You can only purchase these in the UK. However, Orbit DVD will probably get some of these in. Diabolic will not be carrying them, and you'll find out why when I show the next announcement, or a couple announcements later, because we are getting a US release of this, just like we did with their last Argento. Tenebrae, how do you rank that in all of the Argento titles?
It's the best. Like I've gone I've gone on record many times. Tenebrae is my favorite Argento film. Now I'm older, so I watched a few of these Argento films in theater. Now some of the earlier ones I wasn't old enough to watch then, but I lived in an area where there was a small theater and it would like show these releases. So I got to see Deep Red, I got to see Tenebrae on a big screen.
That's awesome.
This for me has the best soundtrack of any of Argento's films, and so much so that I've actually I bought it. It's on my iTunes, and I listen to it all the time when I'm working on videos and stuff like that, or I'm just kind of relaxed. And so I know I love the soundtrack to this. This is a great film. This one almost got taken out of commission. There's a very beautiful girl at the beginning of the film that we see get killed. When you think of like beautiful Italian actress, this is like the picture of what's in everybody's mind. So she gets like her arm kind of chopped off type thing with the window. Anyway, so she was the wife of a famous politician over there, and he tried to get the movie taken out of commission. So this movie almost never made it like to a fork, even a Blu-ray or DVD release. To be honest with you, but it's a great title. It's when you're watching it, guys, know that at the time that he made this, that this movie is meant to be not sci-fi, but slightly like 5 minutes into the future. And you can see with the way that he shoots it, everything is meant to be kind of look type of sterile and just different and unique and angular and sharp, really angular and sharp. And it's a theme throughout the entirety of the movie. And Argento does tend to artistically theme his films.
Oh yeah.
And this one especially. So, because if you're watching this for the first time and you get to the end of it, remember that I said this is clean, sharp and angular, and you'll get why. It's really, really good. I know your favorite, you said before we got in here, is Opera, right?
Yeah, this is my, and that's the good thing. It's Argento, and he's on a tour, literally, and a lot of these people are going to have different favorites because a lot of these depends on when you watched it, memories you have associated with it. Maybe it brought up some sort of emotion the first time you watched it, but Tenebrae is my number 4 from Argento, and that's not number 4. It's not putting it low. It's not saying it's a bad film. In order, just for fun, I go Opera. I love that movie. I love the visuals in that movie. Stylistically, it just hits me. My number 2 is Deep Red. I love Deep Red. I'm so glad that we got that 4K. 3, I'm kind of a mainstream guy here, I guess. Suspiria. I adore Suspiria. So Tenebrae gets my number 4. I think that the fact that we have 3 of these now, of those top 4 on 4K, is amazing. I'm just crossing my fingers for somebody to do Opera. And to be honest, I'm curious what you think. Do you think Arrow is going to be able to do Inferno?
I hope so. I would love to see them do Inferno. I'd love to see them get the rights to I know a lot of people aren't really big on it, but Mother of Tears. Because I'd like to see them all get done eventually on 4K. I'd like to see them done through Arrow. Opera is one of his greats. I find I love Deep Red. I think it's one of the best giallos. but I think it's the Friday the 13th Part 4 of Giallo films, in that it takes all the stuff before it and puts it in there and says,
Right.
okay, this is all the hits. We're playing all the hits. And it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. Great. Speaking of great soundtracks, Deep Red, like,
Yeah.
for me, I think Opera is his last truly great one. But wait a minute. When did Stendhal come out? Before or after Opera? Because that one is
I feel
so.
like Stendhal might have came out 2 years after Opera. Let me
Because if
check.
that's the case, then that is, because that is stunning.
It
And
is good, and I'm almost surprised Blue Underground hasn't released that yet on
it's,
4K.
it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time.
Well, if they still have rights, I guess. We don't
Yeah.
really know for sure.
No, like somebody mentioned, I think Warlock mentioned Sleepless, and I like Sleepless too. I think Sleepless is underrated. I think it gets a little iffy on Card Player, which is okay,
Whoa.
but it's a bit pedestrian for Argento. And the only one that's out and out not the greatest, but I still love it, is Dracula 3D, because oh my god, I need to get a T-shirt with a praying mantis on it.
I love that you say that as you're wearing a 3D shirt. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Stendhal came out way later than I remember. That came out in 96.
Oh wow.
Opera was 87, so Stendhal was very late.
Opera was the first one I bought, like, because like of the uncut ones, because there was a company at the time called Video Search Miami, and you could spend $25 American, and they would send you a VHS of an uncut version. And sometimes it would come out like pretty copy is what it seemed like.
Right.
And Opera was the very first one that I bought from Video Search Miami, so I was super excited, and I watched it over and over again until the tape broke, actually.
Right. Well, we're going to talk about Tenebrae again in just a second. So we got one more Arrow release to go over, and of course, I have to do that once a week and comment on it. We are getting on July 19th The Sacred Spirit. This is from 2021. Now, this one, it seems kind of interesting to me, but one thing I wanted to point out, James, I think it was James Flower, or it might have been Fran on Twitter. Somebody tweeted at Arrow. Did you see this about the art?
No.
They tweeted that this art is almost identical to a cover art that was released through Criterion years ago. And he said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. We had no idea about this other art, and they may be switching this out for a different, at least the slipcover art. So that might be something to watch out for."
It's like Circa 2 Years Vinegar Syndrome, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Remember those?
So this one is... Go ahead.
I haven't seen it. I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen this one. When I saw the artwork, that was Tarkovsky. But what's the plot in this one?
This is from 2021, so it's another one that's a fairly new release. A missing girl, a community in shock. Jose Manuel lives a quiet life. He works in his modest tapas bar, takes care of his elderly mother, and attends weekly meetings of the OVNI Levante, a group of devoted UFO enthusiasts who gather after hours at the office of a local estate agent to exchange information about extraterrestrial messages and alien abductions. When their leader dies unexpectedly, only Jose is left to know the cosmic secret that could alter the future of humanity. And only Jose knows what he must do. And just reading all of that, I know immediately Sardis is putting this on his pre-order list because he loves everything sci-fi. This has Beyond the Eye of Horus, a visual essay about the use of surveillance and Egyptology. And that is again by Alexander Heller Nicholas. Pyramid Scheme, another visual essay, and that is on class and capitalism. There's an interview with the writer-director, a series of 6 location reports about the making of the film, promotional videos, uncut TV clips. But then, something really cool here. For the limited edition, this is an exclusive second disc. Domestic Sci-Fi, the short films of Kima Garcia Ibarra. And that includes The Attack of the Robots from Nebula 5, that is 7 minutes. Protoparticles, which is 8 minutes. Mystery is 12 minutes. And then they still call it a short film, but Uranus for 59 minutes. The Disco Shines, that's 12 minutes. And then the Golden Legends, that's 11 minutes. That's a lot of stuff on one of these releases.
It's insane. Like, I'm going to say, like, the movie sounds interesting, but the features sound even more interesting. Especially anything in Egyptology. I'm there. I love that stuff. I still gotta watch the last episode of Moon Knight, but loving the hell out of that, man. I'm a huge fan of that Moon Knight.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I still haven't seen any of Moon Knight. I really need to. The only Marvel series I've watched is WandaVision. Still,
Still, for me, that's probably the top. I guess maybe the top might be for me.
it's pretty damn well made. Back to Tenebrae. This is the U.S. release of Tenebrae that we are getting, and just like a couple of the previous Arrow and Synapse joint releases, they are getting basically identical releases. There's no difference in special features. The box is the only thing that's different here, and the fact that the Blu-rays that are in here will be Region A instead of Region B. And they haven't announced it. I'm not sure on the last one, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were actually region free because they're working together on it.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
I would
be
say
shocking at all.
I love the cover of this one. This is my favorite cover because, well, I already have the original cover a few times,
Right.
a few times, but this makes me want to get it again. To be honest, one thing here, guys, if you've only got the Arrow edition, or only got like a previous edition or older edition, this one here, I'm pretty sure still has the documentary, and the documentary Yellow Fever from the Tenebrae. It initially came out for the Blu-ray release, the steelbook that they did.
Yep.
Is one of the best documentaries on Giallo that I've seen. Like bar none, it's one of the unless I've seen a few, but this is probably my favorite. I go back to this one over and over again.
Yep.
But guys, please have watched a few Giallos before you watch this documentary because it gives away so many endings.
Yeah.
So
I'm just glad they got that on the Arrow release too.
Is that on the Arrow release too? I didn't know
Literally,
that.
they're identical features.
Because the last time that was the one difference.
Correct.
And there was an extra interview on the Arrow release. So I ended up like getting the Arrow release of Blu-ray because I got the steelbook from one of my viewers. Actually, it's a birthday present a few years back, and it was a good time too because Hin was gone like on a business trip for work, and it came in that day, and I sat down and I watched that steelbook, the movie, and I watched all the features over an entire weekend. But yeah, no, this is a great release, guys. If you don't have Tenebrae, please pick this up. It is a really good film. Even if he ranks at number 4 is pretty high, and like it's in the top 5 of Argento's releases.
Absolutely.
For me, like it's number 1, and I say for my top 5, it's going to be this one, right? This is number 1. Number 2 is probably Deep Red, because as much as I say it's pretty mainstream, I kind of love it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Suspiria's number 3. Bird with Crystal Plumage is probably number 3.
That's my number 5.
Such a good. So is it number 5?
Yeah.
Such a good release. Then it's going to be probably Opera and Suspiria.
Nice. Oh, that's the title. That's right. Antoine says the cover that they were essentially copying with that release is the World on a Wire from Fassbinder. It looks nearly identical. So yeah, this is the Tenebrae release, and Synapse, Arrow, doesn't matter who. If you're interested, grab one of them. They're identical releases, 3-disc releases. They are fantastic.
The girl in that picture is the one that's actually the wife of the politician, actually, right there.
Then we got an announcement from Kino. So we're done with Arrow and Synapse and all that. We got a Sidney Poitier double feature of They Call Me Mr. Tibbs and The Organization from 70 and 71. And these are obviously the sequels to In the Heat of the Night. And they, let's see, I think one or both of these were in the Heat of the Night 4K release. I should have looked that up beforehand. I apologize. But yeah, this is, what do you think about Sidney Poitier? I'm sure you love him.
I do. I'm a huge fan. I actually like these films. I love, of course, everybody loves In the Heat of the Night, and most of us had to do it in school. Or at least when I was growing up, we had to do In the Heat of the Night in English class. But yeah, these were fun, especially when I found out these existed in the days of VHS, because I did not know. I remember going to a store and saying They Call Me Mr. Tibbs. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the name of the character from In the Heat of the Night.
Right.
And I think it was like around 2 weeks later, I saw the Organization there. And I picked it up because it was Poitier, and I didn't realize that it was a sequel until I turned it on.
I am trying to look up as we speak on that, In the Heat of the Night, because that just got released, and a lot of people are getting that. So the special features on the In the Heat of the Night, it says, let's see, the Disc 2 Blu-ray, it includes They Call Me Mr. Tibbs and The Organization. So if you have that 4K release, you do not need this double feature. But this is for the people that had the old release of In the Heat of the Night, and if you wanted to complete it. So that's good to know. I like the double features. They do pretty good stuff. Don't expect a ton of extras or anything on this. But this is coming July 19th.
Kino's not exactly known for their extras, but still some good stuff.
I kind of think they are nowadays. They pretty much put a commentary on basically everything. I think that pretty much stopped being the case about 2019.
See, like to a certain extent. I mean, like they're still not known. Like if you're gonna like name some of the top extras, like you're gonna think Arrow, you're gonna think Indicator. Like Kino, you're gonna say, oh yes, they do good commentaries, but there's like little features. The best ones for me are the TV stuff. When they put it in the TV stuff, that's where they give us like the Outer Limits, the Night Galleries. That's where we get all those.
And we got an announcement for one of those this week, so I'm sure we'll dive into that. But this, with these, I guess the reason I feel to give them a little benefit of the doubt is literally before like 2019, they had almost no features on pretty much all of their releases. So even to give everything a commentary now is a big step up. But the big thing is they release so many titles. I kind of understand that it's nearly impossible to go out on all of these. It's true. When I think of the best features, I'm not thinking of any Kino title at all. But they do so many. They're at least in the game now. They used to not be even a part of the conversation.
Yeah, if you bought a Kino release back in the day, you either bought it because you wanted a good silent film, because that was their specialty back then, or you wanted to get
Western.
Something. Yeah, exactly. One the early stuffs. They put out a movie on DVD back. I think there's a Blu-ray release. We're probably going to be talking about it. An '80s action film with Martin Kove that is the most '80s thing you'll ever see in your entire freaking life, and I love it.
That one was last week, I believe. But
was it? Yeah. Steel Justice.
Yep.
Yeah, guys, if you don't have Steel Justice, get Steel Justice, and I'm going to tell you why right now, really quickly, because Steel Justice literally starts out, and I'm sure you got this one, man, with Martin Kove going in to rescue these people, and the bad guy that they're trying to get has taken a rat and put like a grenade on the back of the rat. It is so cheesy good, and there's a music video literally in the middle of this film, and there's a girl that's I'm guessing is supposed to be like that they're taking care of, like that's supposed to be kind of almost like the younger girl, but she seems older, and I'm like, is she going to be like their kid, or are they going to have a threesome? Because it's just such a weird movie, but I love it. You got to own Steel Justice. You got to have it in your collection.
And it's Martin Kove, who is huge right now because of all of his work with the Karate Kid franchise and everything that's come from that. Because I mean, Netflix is seemingly raking in the money with everything that they're doing to promote all of their stuff. And he's going to conventions and everything, and he recorded a new commentary for it.
He is fantastic. Kove has been underrated for years, man. And us older people that grew up with like Kove and got to see him when he did that TV series where he's an alien and there's a big like orb going around. That was kind of cool. It didn't last long.
For my money, though, the best rat scene is in Vinegar Syndrome's Death Promise. Did you watch that one?
I think I got it, but I don't think I watched it.
There is a rat scene with a pillowcase, and it's pretty good.
I don't know. Does he have a grenade?
That's true. There's no Martin Kove. I just really love Death Promise. Makeflix is having an overstock sale. If you are into that sort of thing, this is over now, so never mind. I just noticed the date. Marty is coming from Kino Lorber. This is from 1955 with Ernest Borgnine, as you see on the cover here. This is getting one of their new wannabe fancy slipcovers, and this has a new audio commentary by entertainment journalists, authors Brian Reisman and Max Every, and it's got two different aspect ratios of the film with a trailer, but that's it. Nothing else, no interviews, nothing like that, but I mean, it makes sense. It's from 1955. A lot of those people are gone, unfortunately. Ernest Borgnine. What do you think of Ernest Borgnine?
I love Ernest Borgnine. Actually, this is a really good film. I know it's not going to be for everybody. Like it's a drama, But I remember seeing it back in the day. I think I got this one on a set of like MGM put it out with a set of like 3 or 4 like different discs with different like Academy Award winning films. They did this one and 12 Angry Men, and then another one as well. So I haven't upgraded to Blu-ray on this one yet, and I'll probably wait a bit because I just recently got the DVD. But it is a really good film.
Good. I have not seen this one. I love Ernest Borgnine. He's hilarious. This is certainly what I'm interested in. We've got a lot of Kino announcements this week. They're putting out a lot of classics that I know nothing about. So if you know anything, please, by all means, jump in. This one is Love Letters from 1945 with Jennifer Jones and Joseph Cotten. This is directed by William Dieterle. Anything on this one?
I don't remember this one very well, actually. I'm a huge Joseph Cotton fan. Like one of my favorite movies, as you probably know, is Alfred Hitchcock's Shadow of a Doubt, and with Joseph Cotton as Uncle Charlie.
Right.
And so from there on, and then of course he's been in so many good films. He did like a few Southern Gothics later in his life that I really really like. But Jennifer Jones, Joseph Cotton, I'd buy this. I'd probably buy this as a sale title. I probably wouldn't buy it first.
Absolutely.
But that's just me. If you're into like the older classic films, definitely it's go for it. But for me, it's more of like when Kino has one of their many sales, which they do have, I'll probably pick it up.
And this is one of those ones we don't know a date yet. They just announce, because they put out so many. They pretty much announce a title every single day. So this will probably be somewhere around like September, October-ish, if I was guessing.
Yeah, like they put it. I get nervous when they put out so many titles. When any company puts out that many titles, because Scream Factory, Chef Factory did that for a while. Yep. And it got to the point where it was just a deluge of titles, and you couldn't nobody could keep up unless you're the Monopoly guy. Then you can do it. But yeah, I always say I like to get a lot of titles, but don't do too many at one time, because I worry about them overextending themselves, and two, like quality control. But they've been pretty good so far. I haven't heard of any, like, you tell me if I'm wrong, though, any really bad quality when it comes to any Kino releases.
We've got a couple pieces of I don't even know the right way to complain about this, I guess. Like the Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, they were given the wrong master to put on the disc. It was the old restoration instead of the newer one, and so they sent out the disc. And where they really messed up is everybody said, "Whoa, this looks like the old version. This doesn't look great." Unfortunately, immediately Kino said, "Nope, this is the right one. This is exactly what we meant to do." Eventually, they owned up to their mistake and they sent out replacement discs, but that's not really the right way to respond to these.
Kino hasn't been the best when it comes to responses, like to be honest about it. But honestly, if people are complaining about Bring the Head of Alfredo Garcia, why did you not buy the Arrow release that had that like 7-hour long documentary on the director? Because that's the one to buy.
Well, if I remember right, I don't know if the documentary is on there, but it is that restoration at least, and I feel like the documentary was on there, but the Arrow version was Region B locked, and this was the first Region A release with a good restoration on that film.
Okay, so go Region for you guys. Arrow.
Exactly. Exactly. Speaking of all of Kino's releases, let's talk about the 10th installment in film noir, The Dark Side of Cinema. This is their noir line. This is the 10th. This is the most recent one they've announced, but they have indicated, I can't remember ever if the number is 12 or 15 that they said they're for sure going to have. And this one includes Flesh and Fury from 1952 with Tony Curtis. The Square Jungle from 1955, also with Tony Curtis, and then World in My Corner from 1956 with Audie Murphy and Barbara Rush. Any of those that you've seen?
Yeah, that I can remember that well right now. No, here's the thing: anything with Tony Curtis in it or Audie Murphy, you get. Audie Murphy is, when people think of like Audie Murphy's a big Western guy, but I did other things. So when you think of like people like John Wayne, and you're like, well, I want to watch that John Wayne movie, but I want to watch a good Western movie, like a John Wayne style, but with a decent person starring in it. You watch Eddie Murphy instead because
Right.
he's better. And he actually went to war. He's a war hero. There's a whole movie done on it called God, I can't remember the hell something hell. But Eddie Murphy again, a real war hero, and he wasn't out there making war promotional films. Well, he didn't go to war like Mr. John Wayne. Hot takes tonight, guys. This is great. I mean, I love the film noir series. I'm a huge film noir fan. I think with a lot of it, like after a point, you're just getting as film noir as you can get, or like this is kind of noir, or this is on the edges of noir. You know what I mean? They did the same thing with like when MGM put out the gangster sets and stuff like that near the end, and the film noir sets. It was like this is more comedy than noir, but okay, we'll take it. So yeah, I enjoy these, and the first one. Oh, was that last week that got announced?
No, this was that was like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Because
So go
they
ahead.
re-released the first one. Sorry about
Yep, and
that. I
you
own
can
that
see
one,
the date here. Actually, the re-release of the first box set is coming on June 28th, and as of today, you can get all the way up through number 6. The 7th one is coming on June 7th, and the 8th one is coming on July 19th. The 9th one is coming in September, so this is the 10th one. I'm betting we will not get this till maybe early November.
I'd say for sure. I love the cover on this one, by the way.
Yeah,
I will say this right now. The first one, by the way, guys, has 5 films, and all the rest of them have 3. They went to 3 after that, which is the reason we're at 10 right now. But yeah, it's I think these are good releases. They look nice. I wish they'd upgrade their maybe they already have. You can tell me their boxes, because
No.
the ones that they used to have were more like the flimsier ones.
they're very flimsy.
But yeah, because they got some really great stuff.
They do.
And they do those like star-centric sets, which I love.
Yep.
But the box sets are like,
They're pretty weak. This is the perfect time to remind everybody that Kino, if you get them directly from Kino, which a lot of people are going to places like Orbit and Diabolic and even Amazon for those. But if you're in the US, Kino is the way to go on these, because they are always cheaper from Kino Direct. And if you spend $50, it's free shipping. So the first what is the volume 1 of Film Noir: The Dark Side of Cinema, it's 5 films and it's $30. It's $29.99 if you order direct from Kino. So getting 2 of them is already free shipping. Or you can, I mean, most of their big title releases are like $16, $17 the day they are released. So it is always better for Kino to buy direct from Kino.
Unless you live in Canada, and they don't give you free shipping anymore. It used to be like $50 free shipping in the United States, $100 free shipping in Canada.
I mean, that's not too bad.
Well, but it's not anymore.
Right, not anymore. Yeah, just
no. When it was, like my better half was a huge fan of this company, so anytime that he had a sale on and that free shipping was on, she would buy, and she wouldn't go in and buy $100. She would go in and buy at least $200, $250 worth of Kino titles. But as soon as you put the shipping on, she has not bought one since, because she's like, oh, if there's one on Amazon that I really want, I'll get it. Or we're at Sunrise Records, which is a 4-hour drive. Not everything's available in Canada. That's a good thing to mention there, Warlock. So there's releases that Kino put out that are locked into certain territory. There are a couple of like Jackie Collins ones, The Bitch and the Stud, that star Joan Collins. Those you cannot get here in Canada. The Pit is another one that you can't get here in Canada. If you try to put it into your cart, it automatically stops you.
Yeah, if you want one of those, you got to go to one of the third-party retailers. But by that point, now you're spending like $40 for one title.
Yeah, or have a friend in the U.S. and something like that.
Yeah, that's true. They wanted to let you know that the title you were thinking of is To Hell and Back.
Yeah, that's the one. See, my grandfather is passed away now. That was Eddie Murphy, and was his and my dad's too, actually, favorite Western star. One of his favorite actors. And To Hell and Back is one that I know that they both watched and loved. So I remember when they announced To Hell and Back on Blu-ray. It was after my pops had passed, and I wished he was there, because I really wanted to get it for him to have it. But yeah, it's a favorite. Thanks, guys.
There's also the whole, not everything is available in Canada. That's kind of true for a lot of these labels. I mean, Second Sight, famously, they couldn't send the Dawn of the Dead to the U.S. Even Arrow, they put out the Guyver in Canada, but they couldn't send that to the U.S. So a lot of those things, again, go region free and pay attention to importing things. There's always a way around that.
Arrow UK, as far as I know, doesn't even if it's you can still buy whether you live in America or Canada, you can still buy them from the website. Uh,
At the moment, I mean, any rights holder could put a limitation on that.
yeah, but I've never said like normally, yeah. But I think Kino's one that's really been strict about it. I guess when it comes to that, out of all the companies that I've bought from,
that's true. Okay, let's get into some of these partner labels, and the first one here is, I mean, this is tailor-made to have Aaron Pynn on my show for this. So, from Canadian International Pictures, which so far, incredible work. They are giving us Buster Keaton Rides Again and Helicopter Canada from 1965 and 66. This is the front of the slip, and this is the back. How about some feelings on Canadian International Pictures, Aaron?
I love Canadian International Pictures. I want to see coming down. Yeah, I want to see come down the road. I want to see the Rowdy Man. I want to see them put out those. But these are really good releases. So this one specifically, I do know. So Buster Keaton, this is I think about a year before he passed. He came up and did Railroader, which is a short film around 25 minutes long, I think. One of those kind of old classic shorts that he used to do.
Yeah.
And the documentary on this is incredible. So if you haven't seen it, it's really, really good. What's even, for me, is almost even better is I love these travelogue things, these snapshot ones. And the helicopter one it's cool. And if you've ever watched the One World of Disney, or if you've ever gotten an MGM release and you've seen, the tips to golfing, and it's really kind of like a jokey type of thing with the narrator. The helicopter one is done like that. You see beautiful scenery and fantastic sights from across Canada, but he's very tongue in cheek with when he's talking about. It's very Canadian humor too. But it's really good. This is a great release. There's a bunch of features on it, a bunch of short films. Railroader is on this release, so you're not just going to get a documentary about it. You're actually going to get to see the finished product as well. And one of the neat things that I noticed, and when I was watching the trailer for this, because we did it on my Patreon, was that a lot of people said, Buster Keaton, for a guy that did silent movies, had an amazing voice. And that is so cool because not everybody can go from silent and kind of make it. But
right.
he definitely could have, though he did tend to play, even in the surfer films that he did, play kind of almost like a silent type character. But incredible. He was a genius. This is a fantastic release. I really think it's a must-have. And again, we're not going down the road. I want that one. Please, see if you anybody knows the guys behind this, Going Down the Road and The Rowdy Man are two releases that desperately need great releases. The Rowdy Man's stars Gordon Pinsent. It was his passion project. He made it. He wrote the book. He did the film for it. He actually stayed at my grandmother's while he was making the film. And it was I had the book with his with an autograph. I lost it over the years, but and he actually was nominated for an Oscar. So great. But this is a great release. By far and large, this is one of the ones. There's a lot of really good ones here. This excited me. This excited me right away. This got my Canadian heart. All the got maple syrup going through my veins and all that type of stuff. So this is a great one.
Good. Yeah, there is so much here. Tons of short films. The first disc for the Buster Keaton Rides Again, it says this disc includes the Railroader and 6 other shorts by the director and the Buster Keaton Rides Again co-star Gerald Potterton. So there's just tons of stuff on here. And there's a bonus short on the second disc that's 8 minutes long with a booklet and everything. Great release. Fun City Editions is putting out the Coca-Cola Kid, and there are so many people excited about this title. What's going on? Glad you're here tonight, Dag Films.
Hey, Dag, man.
Coca-Cola Kid. So you've seen this one?
Oh, God, yes. It's Australian, man. I love Australian cinema. This is early Eric Roberts, early Greta. How's the spell pronounced? Saki, Sashi.
Yeah, I never remember how to say his last name.
Like she's gorgeous and she's great in this. This is a really good film. It's got that kind of the quirky Australian like humor,
Yep.
but it plays really well. And this was an extremely popular movie where I lived at. This was an amazing rental. Like it was rented all the time, and so I had to like fight to get this one at my rental store. But it was. I love this movie, and I'm so glad to see Fun City Editions are doing it because there's not a movie that Fun City Editions has put out that you don't need in your collection. He just has, he's got his fingers on the pulse of stuff that's needed. Primetime Panic right there, guys. The sale's coming up. If you don't have Primetime Panic in your box in your library right now, get it because it's really good. Which one's that one?
More Vern Killar.
I don't have that one.
The Lynn Ramsey title.
So.
I just happen to have Fun City ready to go here.
One of my favorite partner labels that the From Vinegar Syndrome, and this is another fantastic release. And I had no idea it was coming, but I'm extremely excited for this one.
Yeah, this is a really good title. This is there's a lot in this, and I think that this is going to be one of the ones that kind of catches fire when people start to watch it that never got a chance to before. Up next, this is a huge one. So from AGFA, we are getting their first sort of box set, which is the films of Doris Wishman, The Twilight Years, and this is getting Deadly Weapons, Double Agent 73, The Immoral 3, The Amazing Transplant, Let Me Die a Woman, Keyholes Are for Peeping, and Love Toy. We talked about this on your Patreon stream a lot, but why don't you share about how excited you are about this one?
I am. Doris Wishman. This is one of those directors that you gotta experience. Her early stuff, especially, was done differently, I guess. Sound wasn't a big thing, so she'd be shooting from the back of people's heads. But the big thing here are the Chesty Morgan films. Now, there has been a bit of controversy that's popped up over this release. Did you see that?
Yeah, there is one title that is missing a little bit of footage that was in the Something Weird DVD release, and from what we have heard, they just can't get the content to put it in.
Yeah, it's around 7 minutes footage actually, so it is quite a bit, and it is some significant stuff. But honestly, like it's one title out of all these titles, and it's still like it's a truncated version, but still, it's the best version they can get. You can't blame AGFA on that one.
This is the first of 3 from Doris Wishman that they're putting out. That is correct. And Ragman wants you to explain what kind of films are they?
There's no one type of film for Doris Wishman.
Right.
There's no one type of film for Al Adamson. If somebody said, "Hey, what's Al Adamson put out?" A ton of stuff and in different genres. What does Doris Wishman put out? A ton of stuff in different genres. Chesty Morgan was one that she worked with on at least a couple films. Chesty Morgan, her name is Chesty Morgan because she was known for at the time having the largest natural breasts in the world. So when's Double Agent 73? 73 is there for a reason. Those are super cheesy, kind of like spy films,
right?
Where she's got like a camera in her breast and like a bomb, and like it's insane, but they're very cool and they're very fun. So I'm not quite sure. Would I recommend Doris Wishman for everybody? I don't know. I mean, it's not. This is not a mainstream type. If I said, yeah, get Primetime Panic, yeah, I recommend that for everybody. There's stuff on that set that everybody is going to enjoy. I love Doris Wishman stuff, but much like Andy Milligan, your mileage will vary on this. I do think this is going to sell extremely well. And
I do too.
And for me, the ones I remember the most right now out of all these, aside from the Chesty Morgan, is probably The Immoral 3. And I'm pretty sure at the time AGFA put the original one out on DVD that there were 3 of them put on the set. Actually, was the Deadly Weapons, Special Agent, was it Double Agent 73, and Immoral 3. I think those were put on put together. But the other ones are definitely interesting ones. But for everybody, nah. Now, Master Chaos did get to work with her on one of her on her very last films, if not her last film, before she passed away. So if they release that, hopefully you'll get to see him or hear him. And
And he did reach out to AGFA, so I'm curious to see if they let him on.
well, I hope so. I mean, like, because if they're putting that film out and they don't, because you're not going to have a lot of people that are still around that are looking at this, that they're
Right.
working with that stuff. So yeah, get them in there. Please don't tell me they're anti-Milligan quality. They're not like. Would you say they're? What would you say? Like, because you've seen Doris Richmond, right?
Yeah, I've seen. Let's see. I need to look at the list again. I've seen Double Agent 73. I think I've seen Deadly Weapons. I feel like I've seen Keyholes Are for Peeping. A lot of these, they sort of start to blend together for me. The way they describe a few of these are very interesting too. From Deadly Weapons and Double Agent 73, they call them crime epics, starring the iconic Chesty Morgan. And then Let Me Die a Woman, which I have not seen. I know that for a fact. Is a semi-documentary about transgender people, which I'm real curious because that is, for that time, that's very progressive to be able to make something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, and that one that's one of the ones I have seen. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember Love Tie. I think I have.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't remember. And that's like, I wouldn't say it's like Milligan, but I'd say if you didn't like Milligan, you're probably not gonna. This is probably not gonna be a jam either.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, it's very low budget, indie, grindhousey type feeling, at least on a lot of these, and not that AGFA has only put out bad titles, because I don't think that's the case, but I do think that these are a step above most of the AGFA titles.
It's Lady Street Fighter, still the sterling release that they put out. I love the frig out of that film, man. I watched it so many times.
I love Gary Tales, and the McPherson tape is great, and the Wachollywood set. I still think that might be my favorite.
I don't have that one yet. I do love their they put it the later Ed Wood films.
Yep.
And I like snapped those up when I was a Bay Street Video, and I don't regret it. So they put it Violent Years, and they put it like some of his later stuff as well, which was really, really cool. So that was good. I liked some stuff to do. This is again, this is gonna be polarizing a bit. A lot of people are gonna buy this because Doris Richmond is a name that they've heard more than a person that they've seen.
Correct.
So the good thing is, like, how much does this one cost?
In US, it is right now $50.
Okay, so we're in like $69, $70, something like that Canadian then. So no, like, I'm not sure if any of these are on any of the streaming services. You want to check something out. But if you want to go in blind, you can. But I'm not quite sure if this is. Do you think this is a blind buy?
I don't. I think that I would find at least one title and give it a few minutes. Or let me see, is there, if they have a trailer, it might be worth. Yeah, they have a full trailer up for this one. So honestly, that might be enough. If you dig the style that it's portraying there, it might be enough for a blind buy after that point. Because for a lot of these old films like that, you can tell if it's something that will at least intrigue you, where maybe it won't be your favorite movie ever, but you'll get something out of watching it at the very least.
I feel that I'm just biased that the Chesty Morgan ones are probably going to be the most crowd pleasing, just for the cheesiness, and not just like the nudity, but just the cheesiness of them.
Flickering Wave says if you have Criterion Channel, some of Doris Wishman's earlier work is on there.
Yeah, and her early work is some of her uniquest work. Have you seen her early stuff?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you know them when you see them, because a lot of the early stuff, it's like, there's a guy sitting at a counter in one, and he's talking. But so when he talks, you see the back of his head. You don't see him, like, his face talking. And there's a girl behind the counter. When she talks, you see it from an angle where you don't see her, so the words are put on afterwards.
Right, got to be dubbed. All right, next one up for the partner labels is Game of Survival. This is from Culture Shock Releasing, which I've liked pretty much everything from so far. And I was following them before they were a partner label, but a lot of people are very down on this title. Like Master Chaos hated it. He saw it at one of the events, and yeah, this is one that it is labeled as. Oh, they don't have it here. Okay. The synopsis says 7 criminals, prisoners, and slaves are sent down to Earth to hunt for the ball and hunt each other for it. The all-powerful creatures who rule the galaxy watch these games of survival for sport. The winner of the games will be granted their freedom. Which of these 7 deadly men will secure the ball and survive until noon? I don't remember. Had you seen this one? I don't think you had, right?
I didn't think I did, but after I saw the trailer, I think I might have.
Oh.
So the style of this here is exactly, watch the trailer. It's exactly what you're going to need to see for something like this. I don't get why people are down on this stuff, because it's not like it's not saying what it is. It's exactly what it is. The trailer shows you exactly the type of film that you're getting. And if you like that style of film, I'll tell you right now, this is a million times above TC-3000. Which is a release that's on a VSA release, for crying out loud, like a premium like one. And that's, I'm not sure about you, but TC-3000 was one of the lesser releases for probably as far as I've seen, the lessest release from Vinegar Syndrome Archive.
Right.
And that's one that has Dr. Jekyll's Dungeon of Death in it. But it's fun. It's a fun little title. Watch the trailer. If the trailer looks decent for you, check it out. This looks like one of those dystopian type films done on lower budget.
Yeah. And Culture Shock Releasing certainly has a style. A lot of the stuff they put out is cheesy 80s fun, essentially. It's the type of film that you watch with the crowd, 5 or 6 people at your house, and just have a good time.
It's their brand. I mean, like, this is a movie that you put on exactly. You got a bunch of people there. You're having whatever altering thing you're having. If you're smoking your weed, or you're having like a drink, then this is a fun one to watch. And it's like just kind of what I used to do with my cuz back in the day in the VHS days. We'd get movies and we like riff the hell out of them. This is way before Mystery Science Theater came around.
Same.
When Mystery Science Theater came around, like, I've been doing this for years. Like, you mean I could have made money on this?
Could have been a millionaire.
There you go. But it's fun. It's good for what it is.
Next one up is possibly the most exciting one for me, which is odd because I'm not a fantasy person. Deaf Crocodile is putting out the first of their Russian fantasy films that they alluded to earlier this year. And this is called, I'm probably going to butcher this, but Ilya Muromets. And in the US, this was butchered and released as The Sword and the Dragon. This slip art is incredible looking overall. But the trailer for this, if you really want to see something that excites you, this has a really great trailer on the Vinegar Syndrome site. And one of the things that astonished me is that this film had almost 100,000 extras. That is just bonkers. That is crazy that they're able to pull that together.
It looks gorgeous.
It does.
I like, just after mentioning Mystery Science Theater, this was my introduction to this film, because Mystery Science Theater did do this one, I think, one of the later seasons. I'm interested for the presentation, see how it's going to be. This is a Russian fantasy film, right?
Yep.
I expect this to be long. Is it long?
Actually, that's on this page. Let me see. No, it's only 91 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Because I kind of, when I usually see some of these, there's a lot of kind of like drawn out sequences,
right?
That you gotta. It's like when you watch them. I put it in a different way. Here's a weird one. When you watch them Franco, and you watch like 3 or 4 Francos, and then you kind of get into like the vein. Okay, I know what to expect, right? Well, this one right here, it's like, this is not Franco, guys. But, after you watch like 3 or 4 of these style films, it's got a certain like style to it that you come to expect. And I think this is going to be a quality release. It's not quite up there with the Canadian International Pictures one for me, but I do think that this is one that like cinephiles are going to really, really dig.
And they have others coming. There are more Russian fantasy films coming later this year, and Deaf Crocodile just coming in and taking things by storm. I mean, when I watched this, I felt like when I was fascinated with the last 15 minutes of V that Severin and Eureka put out, Not that it's cheesy or feels like a play necessarily, but it has a lot of those same sensibilities where you can tell they they were probably very low budget, but they gave it their all and pulled off some things that should not be possible. I mean, the dragon in this film, just in the trailer, looks
Yeah, that
way
looks cool.
better than it should.
Especially for the time it was done too. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is from 1956. It is amazing what they were able to pull off, and the dragon shooting fireballs that genuinely looks like a dragon shooting fireballs. It's amazing.
It looks gorgeous. This is gonna be a wake up for people who've seen the other version. I think it's much like Tenebrae,
Yep.
which for most of us saw as Unsane for years with the really truncated, shortened version. And then when you finally got to see Tenebrae, it's like, oh my god, Unsane was okay, but this is amazing.
Right.
This is gonna be an exciting one.
And this was filmed in CinemaScope, so it looks incredible. Next up, this one kind of surprised me. The trailer really sold me on this one. Inspector Ike is coming from Factory 25. This is a 2020 film, even though this cover kind of makes it look like something from like 1978.
Yeah.
Here is the back of the slip, and it says Inspector Ike starts right about now. The synopsis on this one: Inspector Ike, New York City's greatest police detective, finds himself in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse after the conniving understudy of an avant-garde theater group knocks off the star actor. A lost TV movie from the 1970s, not really. Inspector Ike mixes visual gag, slapstick, gross food, and heartfelt emotion. Think Columbo meets The Naked Gun, featuring a rogues gallery of NYC's best comedians. And it's true. I mean, I'm a big fan of John Early. He's in this, and it looks hilarious. This is a 2020 film, and it feels like that essence from something from the 70s. It looks fantastic.
It's gorgeous. It looks incredible. As a guy that grew up watching this stuff, it's a great parody of the NBC mystery movie with a Quinn Martin production. It's very much like the kind of like making fun of the Columboists type stuff.
Yep.
I don't see this as I think by saying Naked Gun, I think that's given the wrong type of humor.
Yeah.
But this is more of a satire, and in a good way, and as in well done. Like, I don't know, I haven't seen all the movie yet, but from what I've seen, everything I've seen looks incredible. And the sequence they show in the trailer with the murder is right out of Columbo. Yep. It is so well done, and it's the thing is that it's not just that it's done. That is that they actually shoot the film.
Yep.
So that it looks like one of those releases. And that's not an easy thing to do. Trust me. There's so many mystery shows that came out in Hallmark and stuff like that years later that can't get that right. But this one gets it right.
Kubrick Lover says, sorry I didn't say hi right away. You are forgiven. Hello, Kubrick. Glad you're here. Next one up from our many partner labels. King Car is coming from Dark Star Picks. This is a 2022 release. 2022. A young man's ability to surreally be one with and speak to cars sparks a revolution that could save his community. When his invention inadvertently accelerates the underlying problems of the community, our hero's quest must grow bigger than his own personal ambitions, and a fight for survival ensues with the zombies of capitalism. This is one that I've never heard of, and the star commented on my post and said, "Oh my gosh, Mom, I'm on a cover. It's super beautiful. Congrats."
Oh, cool.
So this one looks interesting. I don't know a whole lot about this, and it seems, I mean, obviously it's a 2022 film. It's very brand new.
Who is on the cover, by the way? What's
her name is Jules. Where is it up here? Let me look at the other page because her name, she's not the star of the film. She's one of the others, I guess. Her name is Jules Etling.
So here's the thing. And I'll be honest, when I saw the cover, I was like, yeah, that sounds kind of cool. And I read about it, like, oh yeah, that does sound really interesting. Then I watched the trailer, and I was like, I'm not quite sure. Like one, I looked for the girl from the cover in the trailer, and I was like, okay, does she star? And it's like, it's a guy, and like, is he a car? Does he become a car? Does he talk to cars? And this is not I don't know. You thought I wasn't a trailer that sells me. Like I don't think it was a well cut trailer. Is I guess the best way to put it.
I agree, and I feel like this is a step back from some of the other Dark Star releases that we've had. But either way, it's intriguing enough, and it not necessarily the same tone, but it gives me, obviously, with the subject matter of the film, a lot of Titan vibes, and I'm very curious to see how far this movie goes.
Well, I hope it doesn't go in that direction. But yeah, no, this could be a better film than the trailer lets off. You know, trailers can be misleading.
Right.
But I'll be honest, the slip had me down for it right away, and the trailer pulled me back.
I don't remember. Did I show the back of that? This is the back of it. It's a nice looking release, but again, this is one. Just go in, and if you are interested, at least watch the trailer and make a decision there.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know this time, because I think the trailer might dissuade people that might be interested in the film. Because I don't know. Do you think the trailer is a good representation? I haven't seen.
No, I don't necessarily, but I mean, I haven't seen the film either, so maybe it is.
It's not, because if it is, like, okay, it's like that's okay, but it just didn't seem like a trailer's supposed to sell you on films. There's there's an art to the trailer, something that DC doesn't know, because they just put everything in their trailers. Like,
to be frank, you can rent this for $2 US right now on most sites. I mean, you can rent this on Google Play, YouTube, Amazon, $2 on YouTube, and you can watch the entire film.
That's what you want to do. Yeah. Spend the $2, so much the trailer. Check out the film if you're interested.
But one I can tell you that is really good.
Yes.
The Little Hours from 2017 is coming from Gunpowder and Sky. Some of these faces here you might recognize. This is the lovely Allison Brie. This is John C. Reilly in the top left. This is Kate Micucci. This is Dave Franco in 2 different places on here. This is Aubrey Plaza. Here is the back of the release with Aubrey and Dave. And this is one from, like I said, 2017 that works. I saw this, I think in 2017, and it's good, but the ending kind of fell apart for me, but I think it's absolutely still worth the purchase. It's very funny. And then the cool part, this got a brand new commentary with the director, with Allison Brie, Aubrey Plaza, Dave Franco, and Kate Micucci, all recorded this year, which is nice. That's kind of rare, especially for those big actors to do something new for this.
Well, like, one thing to say right now, like, who's not in love with Aubrey Plaza?
It's a good question.
Yeah, like, come on, like, do you have a soul? Like, you don't have a soul. You still got to be in love with Aubrey Plaza. I'm sorry. Same with Allison Brie. Does, like, when going from Community to Glow, which was freaking incredible.
Yeah.
And
Mad Men too.
Dave Franco, to me, the most talented of the Francos. I'm gonna put it out there. I really like him. And the least problematic. Yeah, a great cast. John C. Reilly's in this one. What's her name? Kate. She's
Kate Micucci.
Yeah, she does a lot of voice work. Like, I watch her cartoons. She does like a ton of voice work. She's really good at it too. But yeah, the Aubrey Plaza looking sexy on the cover, guys. That alone, like, should have you getting this release. But it's hilarious. This is based on the Cameron, I'm pretty sure. Kind of from what the trailer looks like, anyway. But it starts out. I love this. So here's the difference. King Car's trailer, not good. The trailer for this one here will have everybody wanting to buy this film once they watch the trailer.
Oh yeah,
it's the best trailer out of all these. Out of all the movies that we looked at here, like, when on my Patreon channel, we went through all these. This is Vingerson a month, like Vingerson every month on my Patreon. So I went through all the trailers. I got a strike, not warning. Like, luckily it wasn't monetized anyway, so screw them. But yeah, this was probably my favorite of all the trailers, and I was surprised to see Aubrey Plaza come up. I was like, yes, I need this movie.
It's a good one. I will stand by my assessment with that. And like I said in the Patreon stream, the Little Hours pairs really well with Your Highness. And
yeah, exactly.
I love Your Highness, and they go very well together.
And that was put up by Mill Creek. That was so it's not expensive like buy Your Highness. There's features on that too. There's actually some
Yep.
decent features on there. See, there you go. See, Mill Creek getting features when Kino still lagging behind. But just saying. Your Highness, one, if I love Your Highness, and two, I'll probably watch them together.
One of the ones that I'm most excited about this month is No Resistance, coming from Saturn's Core Audio and Video. This is made by a filmmaker from Houston in 1994, and Saturn's Core does a lot of the shot on video stuff, and I've been very much appreciating what they've done to some of these titles. A lot of the people that watch the channel love Saturn's Core, and not enough people are getting these, I think. And then obviously SOV can turn away some people, but this one looks special. If you watch the trailer for this one, it looks to be a very different type of release from Saturn's Core. And just to try to lay the groundwork for this a little bit, the synopsis says, Houston, sometime in the near future, in the aftermath of the catastrophic collapse of America's governmental and financial infrastructures, Deej is a pink-haired, crank-snorting cyber alchemist performing high-priced hacks for hire from his fully mobile, holstered laptop. Deej navigates through a dystopian urban jungle, evading the ire of rival government street gangs and wielding his iterant PC like a futuristic gunslinger, erasing phone bills and shutting down life support systems for a bounty of drugs, floppy disks, and cash. When Deej is hired by would-be terrorists to obtain a high-risk, weaponized computer virus, he instead finds himself involuntarily becoming the carrier of a far more insidious cargo, the fallout from which may lead to war or even the end of all humanity as we know it. Anything? I don't think I've heard you talk about SOV stuff. Are you into SOV?
Yeah, but it's certain ones more than others. I like some of Saturn's Core stuff. Some of the Wave stuff is okay. It's sounds better than others. To be, let's be honest.
Of course.
But the casting's a bit different for me when I was watching the trailer. Because the hero seems more like a quieter, a me type, I guess is the way you want to put it. A quieter
from what I hear, this director pretty much just worked with his group of friends in Houston, so that could be why.
See, like, I got a feeling this is going to be better than I think it is. Because initially when I watched the trailer, I'll be honest with you, this is another one where I was like, the trailer, I'm like, not quite sure. But it got like a bunch of kind of rave reviews throughout the trailer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you're going to push that anyway. Looks interesting. I'm not super big on the cover, but that doesn't matter to me. Like I said before, like the slip cover is not what's going to sell me on the film.
Yeah, I think they could have done a little better with that.
The description's good. But like Saturn's Core is doing stuff, and they're putting out stuff with like John just said, like tons of stuff on their releases. Like they really go to town. Like they put out great like features on the releases that they do, and you get like extra featurettes, like interviews, sometimes commentaries, sometimes extra films. So fun stuff there. Or when their first release, that extra music video that was super cool, because I just love that song from that documentary. But yeah, no, I'm interested. Sounds like a good What with Tech War or Johnny Mnemonic.
The director is saying that the Cyberpunk Yojimbo portion on this is incredible and maybe the best featurette they've done, which really speaks to me because, first of all, the guy from Saturn's Core, he was a co-director of Mail Order Murder, the Wave documentary that they made, and he has been the main curator of all of this. And if he feels that way, I guarantee it's probably incredible. So, and then on top of that, all of their discs are always ridiculously loaded. Like more than half of them have had bonus movies. They have all kinds of interviews. They've got commentaries. The big thing is when you're getting a shot on video, it's not going to be this huge high def release. However, that means there's tons more space on the Blu-ray to have a lot of features. So there's all kinds of stuff on these that are just so much fun to dive into.
And like I know some people like see shot on video and automatically kind of go away. But it can be really really fun. Um, Severin does like a label called Intervision, which deals with
Yep.
shot video stuff as well. And I put it one of my favorites things, one of the worst movies of all time. But if you haven't seen it, you are truly not a bad movie connoisseur. It's the one you have to see. I'll gatekeep you there. You got to see things. But yeah, no, Saturn's Core. I love that more of the releases. Mail Order Murder is the only one I got that I own right now. I've seen most of the films that they put out. I haven't seen this one, and that intrigues me.
I just rewatched that documentary this week, and it is so good. That first, if you don't have Mail Order Murder, highly recommend it. If you've never gotten into shot on video, it's a really good primer for that sort of thing. It gives you the feeling, the culture that surrounds it. It gives you really a really good inside look of the people behind it. That shows that in many instances, it genuinely is a passion project.
Um, You know what I'd say? With I know Mail Order Murder as a documentary was divisive to some people. I thought it was fantastic, but for me, it gives a feeling of remember Crumb, the documentary Crumb.
I have never seen it.
Oh, okay. Then see the documentary Crumb. One, it's fantastic. Two,
Yeah.
it has that kind of like kind of weird fringe vibe to it. That's so good. But yeah, dude, Criterion. Next time Criterion puts out a sale, get Crumb. Like, trust me on this one. It is
Interesting.
one of the great documentaries of all time.
Yeah, and Criterion's put out some incredible documentaries. So yeah, and Warlock, words out of my mouth. I was about to mention SRS Studio. They do a lot of shot on video stuff. There is a very low budget. I think it's DVD only company so far too. SOVHorror.com also releases stuff, and they're genuinely like $8. So
Yeah.
if you're looking to more shot on video stuff, there is a lot out there. And it
Slasher
can
Film
just,
Studios.
yep, it can open up just a world of good stuff that maybe you are the exact audience that they've been waiting to find.
Subrosa is a company that I think introduced a lot of people in the DVD age to shot and video stuff. Like, because I know I'm pretty sure they did some work with early Mill Creek. Like there were some like releases that were put out. I think it was Mill Creek. Like these 20 like movie sets. That's like with that Subrosa stuff on there, or like Night Dismember and stuff like that. I just actually packed one away, so that's why I know that.
Nice. All right, next one. This one is coming from Altered Innocence. This is Passing Strangers, Forbidden Letters. This is from Arthur J. Bresson Jr., who did Buddies, that Vinegar Syndrome put out previously. And I've been known for a lot of people when I talk about Vinegar Syndrome to champion Buddies as possibly the best film they ever released, the best actual film. I love that movie. It is one that has absolutely brought me to like an emotional breakdown at certain times. It is such a great film. If you do not have Buddies, I strongly suggest putting that at the top of your list for the sale. But these are a very different type of movie than Buddies.
Yes.
No other filmmaker better embodied the spirit of the gay liberation movement than Arthur J. Bresson Jr. A true pioneer of queer cinema, his films fearlessly blurred the boundaries between the artistic, the erotic, and the cinematic, and never so clearly as with his first two narrative films, the critically acclaimed Passing Strangers and Forbidden Letters. Altered Innocence and the Bresson Project are proud to present these two landmarks of early queer cinema, newly restored in 2K from the OCN with a host of new bonus features. And there is a host on here for sure. Audio commentary on both, on-stage Q&A with the star and queer film historian Jenny Olson at the San Francisco Porn Film Festival, 5 early Super 8 shorts by Arthur J. Bresson Jr., print materials, original trailers, other trailers, double bill trailer, and a 20-page booklet. And I mean, that is a lot into a release like this.
This is beautifully shot. This is the one where I had to turn off the trailer because it was a little bit too.
Yep.
It showed too much. Like to say that way, especially even on a private, like it showed too much. But if you're interested in queer cinema, this is definitely going to be like one to put in your collection. I don't have much press. I don't have Buddies yet. I've seen Buddies. It kind of wrecked me though.
Yeah.
So that's actually the reason that I haven't got it yet, because it kind of wrecked me. Though it is a great film, and I do like second your recommendation on it. This is not Buddies. This is it's beautifully shot. Like I'll say that
Yeah.
right now. Like from what I saw, it's beautifully shot, and the features and the booklet are fantastic. And for like people that are historians of this type of cinema, yeah, this is going to be like a grab. Uh, for me, not so much right now. But what about you? Does this one?
I mean, I'm interested at least. I'm more curious, like what we could have gotten from Arthur J. Bresson Jr. if he did not die so young. I mean,
Yeah,
the way that he was able to film and really cater a narrative into a way that delivered. He's one of those people that can essentially make the film goer feel an emotion, which is a lot more difficult than you think. And Buddies, primarily because that's my main introduction to him, it is so perfectly executed that it is a gut punch, and it was made in such a time that I can't imagine watching it then. Which I imagine the people that did see it then, if you were empathetic to that movement at all, you would just be wrecked.
yeah. Did I see Buddies back then? I'm trying to remember if I did. I'm from that era.
Yeah.
So we had it was a different difficult time, and yeah. Actually, I have we had friends that had to deal with stuff like that. But I'm very interested in. I don't. I want. I go back and forth. I know that's not gonna be something I'm gonna watch right away,
Right.
but I know I'm gonna watch the features. I know I'm gonna read the booklet. That's the important part for me. And as I say the word right now, some people don't like it. As curator, that's what I do. That this is a type of a film that I don't want to see lost. These are you don't want to see any film lost, but when we're talking about things that aren't going to get seen as much, things that are going to be an important place in film history. Things like this tend to not sell as well. They tend to get lost in the shuffle among other releases when there's a big Russian fantasy film coming out, when there is a funny, cheesy, satire of the NBC mystery movies, and there's an Aubrey Plaza movie coming out. This tends to fall on the lighter side of the scale, and people tend to bypass it a bit, which is really a shame. And for some people, I understand it's going to make you a bit uncomfortable. And I'll put it to you this way: that's not bad. To go in
And learn and grow.
Exactly, and it's okay to feel uncomfortable, but truly, yeah, watch this. Especially with this director, if this is something and this is new and you're looking at it and you want to see, and you want to see queer cinema, you want to see what's been done, and Buddies might be your only release that you've seen, if you've seen it, then this is your next step, and take it from there.
And then if you are curious, Alternate Innocence is the way to go. They are a label completely devoted to queer cinema, and everything they've put out is interesting. Although, make sure, depending on what you're wanting to watch, they have titles that they put out that is literally just pornography. So make sure,
so know what you want.
Which, if that's what you want to watch, by all means, get it. There's nothing wrong with that. But they have beautiful coming of age stories. They have horror movies that are dedicated to it. They have hardcore adult cinema. They have pretty much everything that you could want under the queer banner, and I completely respect them for that.
Yeah, and then look up Pool, because Vinny's trying to put out Pool's work as well, which is actually pretty good when it comes to this type of stuff. I've seen the Pool stuff, but why is all 4K movies region free? Well, that's kind of one of the big things out with 4K D-Flex is that it's the region free. It's the region free. What's I guess.
The format of 4K, there is nothing written into the actual standard for when you are making a 4K on how to region lock it. They're not supposed to. Yeah. There are 4 titles in existence that have been region locked on 4K, but there's so few far in between. It's not going to be something that you're worried about. There was one title in the US that was released as region locked as 4K. The other 3 were from somewhere in Europe, and they were mostly like no-name titles, stuff that most people are not going to be getting. 4K is meant to be the thing that literally anybody anywhere can watch. to get rid of all of the crap that we dealt with for years on
Yeah.
different regions.
And it's great for somebody like me who's moving from North America over to
Okay.
North Africa, because over there everything's region 2. So every 4K release I get is, it's super good for me. We're looking to buy 220 electronics, go to 220 electronics to get a region free player in the near future. So with 4K. So that's I recommend 4K. It's if you're collecting physical media right now, I know for a long time people were like hesitant on 4K. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna. Blu-ray's good enough. 4K is not. Yeah, it's niche. Look at all the stuff that's coming out right now, and like 80% of it now is one of the big things. One of the biggest things. Remember, it was slip covers were a thing. I'm like, oh look, it's got a slip cover. Now, hey, guess what? It's 4K with the Blu-ray. So yeah, even if you don't have a 4K, maybe you got a 4K TV. Most TVs that come out nowadays, where you go to your local Walmart, Target, whatever, they're 4K. Even the cheaper ones, right? So, and you may not have a player right away, but most of these 4K releases are 4K Blu-ray, like standard. So this is a cool way of actually going out and future-proofing.
Yep.
When DVDs were around, Criterion initially were nervous about going to Blu-ray, so they put out these incredible Blu-ray DVD like dual packs, and I bought every one I could get my hands on. And then they canceled them and said, "No, we're going to do Blu-ray and DVD separately." And I'm like, mother, but.
Flex also wants to know, is 4K the creme de la creme of quality? My personal opinion, the way I've explained this before, is that there are films that have been shot higher than 4K. A lot of them, 6.5K is a weird standard, and then 8K has been a common standard. I don't think personally that we are going to go above 4K on home media, because to really benefit from 8K, it's got to be a giant screen, and we're talking theater screen basically. So I could see 8K being a thing that is displayed for very niche things, but it's mostly going to be digitally driven. It's not going to be something that you're going to buy at Walmart or anything like that.
No, I mean, like when it comes to 4K, for me, is it the creme de la creme? Yes, but here's the thing: a lot of 4K releases that you're going to be looking at are going to be a lot of the older releases, because when things are being shot on 4K on a digital camera, or even 6K or 8K, it's being digitally shot. That's going to look good. No, like in format anyway. When you're looking at 4K releases, you're looking at things that were shot on film, because that's where the restoration comes into play. Also, 4K, don't just look at the picture, close your eyes. It's the sound, and that is where you're going to get the biggest difference at is the sound, because the sound is incredible.
And not only do we get the uptick in resolution, but HDR can change the way you view some of these films too.
Dolby Vision is still the best way to go, and Dolby Atmos, if you got the bones and you can get that. Dolby, I don't have enough money to buy Dolby Atmos.
I don't have Dolby Atmos either,
but I've heard of them, and it's so glorious. I got a Sonos right now, and it's just a cheaper system, but it works. So there you go.
I was talking this with one of the viewers today. This is going to be, some people are going to shun me possibly from saying this, but I have 2 young kids, and both of my kids are special needs, and because we've lost some things around the house from them not handling things properly, I still just use TV speakers. They're not at the age that I can trust them yet.
I had kids. I understand that. That's normal, man. You get there. Now, the neat thing about the ones that I got, like the Sonos speakers, are small. They're compact, but they're heavy. So you kind of like put them like I got them over on the 2 sides of my room right there. If you got the setup, you can put them up fairly high, and they're not easy to get at. But if your kids are climbers and stuff like that, that could be a thing. And they are heavy, so I don't want kids getting hurt. So weight,
right.
So, speakers are good.
And I've got a really crappy layout of my living room. I had to mount my TV on a corner post that is protruding into the living room, and there's nothing like behind my couches. There's no shelves. There's nowhere like that makes sense to set up even a table or anything like that. It is an awful living room for movie viewing and for sound.
What size screen did you go for?
I have a 65-inch.
Same way right now.
Yeah, it's the screen is beautiful. I love that. But even then, like, I have it mounted between 2 windows, so during the day it's awfully blended in with the light. So really, when I want to watch something that looks great, I got to wait till nighttime.
I've had TVs like that. I had like a curved TV. That was the issue. Like earlier, remember the curved TVs?
Oh yeah,
But yeah, Sculptor said that 8K is used a lot for sports, like
yep.
yes, and video games. So basically, when you're looking at like 8K is never going to be something I don't think we're going to be. Nobody's going to be buying an 8K disc. But let's be honest, guys. Right now, DVDs sell the best. Like there's Blu-rays, there's 4Ks. DVDs sell the best out of all the formats that are right there. It's still DVD. That's like the king of the formats. But
Which is sad, but also it's because it's the cheapest.
It's the cheapest, and like it's here's the thing. If you got a computer that happens to have a player in it, 9 times out of 10 that player's a DVD player. It's not a Blu-ray player, unless you paid the extra money to get a Blu-ray player put onto your computer. It's not a 4K. It's not a Blu-ray player. If you go to a cabin, you go somewhere else. A lot of the players you see there, you go to an Airbnb, DVD players. It's just easy to get. Now, if you got like a PlayStation 3 or an Xbox, or going old school, or even Xbox Series S. Well, that's a 4K player. But PlayStation only went. PlayStation created this freaking thing. Waited. They didn't have a 4K player in their PS4, which is utterly insane. And only had one put on as a bonus onto this one. And you could tell it was an afterthought. Right. If you look at the system for the PlayStation 5.
And again, I highly recommend buying a standalone player. I firmly believe that consoles are not great players for these. So I've got a recommendation video I put out like a month and a half ago. It is well worth it to upgrade.
Yeah.
Let's keep going, huh? We still got quite a bit left. From Canny, I think that's how you pronounce this. I've never heard somebody else say it out loud. We're getting Videophobia from 2020. And this says, a superbly laconic Tomona Hirota, haunts the streets of Osaka dressed as a mascot. After going home with a stranger, she wakes up to find footage of their intimate encounter uploaded to a porn site. As all systems of recourse and remedy fail her, her sense of dislocation and alienation intensifies, and Ai resorts to a strange solution. Now, Canny has done a lot of really good work so far. Have you picked up any of their stuff?
Not yet. I didn't pick up anything this year, except for the 2 releases I showed at the beginning of the video. But the plot of this one sounds really interesting to me.
Yeah.
It gives me almost like a Repulsion meets a Miss 45 type of feel.
Yeah.
Or A Woman's Torment, which is still one of the best things that was put up for Vinegar Syndrome ever. There's no trailer for this one, I don't think, because I'm pretty sure we didn't watch a trailer for this one.
Yeah, I don't think there was.
But it's actually it's a pretty good one.
This also has a bonus, what do they call it? A newly commissioned short film from 2022 that's 9 minutes. It's got a booklet. It's got a sticker with it even. Lots of cool stuff with this release. To me, Canny has been pretty damn great so far.
I like stickers.
Me too.
But yeah, it's cool.
Let's follow that up with one of the oddest announcements of the year. Shout Select from Shout Factory is getting Georgia Rule, starring Lindsay Lohan and Jane Fonda and Felicity Huffman.
I haven't seen this, but I like the 3 actresses. I really do. I think Lindsay Lohan is extreme. I still think she's amazingly beautiful looking, and Felicity Huffman is one of the actresses that I think is on point all the time. Same with Jane Fonda, but I guess I'm a Desperate Housewives guy. I watched it, and she was incredible in that. Actually, do you know this film?
I don't. I've not seen it. It went under my radar completely. I also like Lindsay Lohan. I think that she's mocked primarily because of what happened around the time, but she's genuinely a decent actor. Most of the she's
very
done.
much so. Like so.
I do think this is a very odd fit for Shout Select, though, and I think that
for a label that put it home for the holidays, kind of.
Yeah. If anything, I think that this should have just put under Shout Factory, not Shout Select.
I think we're getting more. I understand because Kubrick, you're cool, man. But because they're leaning more towards this. And here's the thing: when you pick up like a lot of these titles, honestly, it's the label titles that probably sell best.
Yep.
So will probably sell better under the Shout Select than
Oh
it
yeah.
would under regular Shout, under regular Shout factory release. Because people collect like people that are OCD like me who want to collect all those numbers, right?
Yeah.
And they'll definitely get that one. See, it interests me. I would buy this. I know it's silly and like it may seem silly, but it's the type of movie that I would sit back in and buy. But I'd also sit down and watch like Mystic Pizza.
Yeah, so do I. I've got nothing against the film. The only thing for me is that it seems odd in the Shout Select line, which I understand the merit from a business perspective on why to put it there, but from the viewer perspective, it just seems like a weird decision.
I think once Home for the Holidays hit there, because that's again another one that at the time I thought was a strange choice for Shout Select, and I bought that one actually recently. I got it for $5. Uh, but uh,
Not bad.
but yeah, so I after that I'm like, yeah, I can see where they can kind of just put in like pretty much anything that they want to within certain parameters, things
Right.
that they think can sell. And I don't know, this may be a perfect fit along that lines for shows like where I haven't seen it. I really can't
Yeah.
say, but I do like the actresses in it. Like if the movie is as quality as the actors are, fantastic.
Understood. Next one, they are upgrading Species for Scream Factory. This is coming in 4K. I mentioned earlier we would talk about Species again. This has no new features. This has, I believe it's, 3 discs, one 4K disc, 2 Blu-ray discs, and that does include an upgraded Blu-ray to the new scan, which is nice, I guess. But at the same time, we don't have any other releases of the sequels in print in the US still. So get the 88 films release of all 4.
Yeah,
I would recommend all 4 of those over the Species 4K.
I got us a question. I've seen this like cover show up a couple times now from the 88 Films release shows it, and this one here shows it.
Yep.
Where is this from? This is not the North American cover for Species. It was Natasha Henstridge on the cover. It wasn't like the alien on the cover of the original. Because I saw Species in theater. Or why can't the next generation systems like the PS5 play 4K movies well? They can play them. It's just that things like Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision aren't available to play on an Xbox or a PlayStation 5.
Well, and beyond that, those are made to play games. So there are certain features that are lacking for movies that are more apt for games on there. So if you're wanting to focus on movies, the 4K, you're going to get the most out of a standalone player that is made to excel in those.
Exactly.
I just looked up IMDb Species, and this says this is the main poster.
Not the theater I went to. Like I can tell you right now, this is not the poster that was at the theater that I went to when I saw the film. The poster that was in the theater that I went to was at Natasha Henstridge poster. Like
maybe it's the US release.
I'll show you right here. Actually, we have like some cards here. So you see that picture right there?
Yeah,
that's the poster.
Yeah,
the other people actually mentioned that too. Like when I said, like, where did this come from? Like, because they didn't remember it either.
This must be the U.S. release poster because it is showing up on IMDb.
But this is IMDb too, so people can alter this. But yeah, no. But no, yes, first time I saw it was on this side. I wasn't any other previous releases either that I remember because I had a VHS release of this too,
right?
And that also didn't have that.
All right. Shout Factory is seemingly having a light month because they had to delay their 3 previous 4K releases that were going to come out in June to July. So this was pretty much it. Then they announced some other random things to go along with it.
Oh, I love
Star Hunter is coming out, complete series, all 44 episodes. This is coming July 26th. And it's got some bonus features. Got behind-the-scenes featurette, some effects, Star Hunter at Fan Expo, all kinds of other stuff. I know nothing about this show.
It's okay. It's like a fun, cheesy sci-fi show. Who stars in this one again? Is it Bien or someone like that?
Does it even say? Michael Pere from Streets of Fire,
Okay.
Stephen Marcus, Tanya Allen, Claudette Roche, and
If
Clive Robertson.
if you like the basic sci-fi show, like you watch on the Sci-Fi Channel type thing, that's what it is.
Hmm.
I got a lot of fun in it, but I do love like a I love that type of stuff. But yeah, it's I'm not sure if it's a big release. Why is it called Redux though? Because I don't remember that being on the original releases, unless it's
Not
just
entirely sure. Doesn't have anything to explain it either. But they are doing some other stuff too. They are putting out JFK Revisited. This is coming on July 19th. And one thing that's cool about this, and I'm not sure while I speak about this, let me check, see if it's sold out already. They are having an option now where you can purchase the one of the posters signed by Oliver Stone, which is
oh
pretty
wow.
dang cool. And that one is still available. The one with the Oliver Stone autograph is $80.
Uh, if you're a really big fan of the movie and Oliver Stone, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hey, it's a theme. It's Redux Revisited.
There you go. Yeah.
Theming it here. I like JFK. I keep getting a recommendation for a video on YouTube that says, "Why was the JFK's coffin closed?" And I'm like, that's a pretty easy one to figure out.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to make a poor taste joke, but yeah.
Yeah, so was I. Actually, I stopped myself.
So this one has a new audio commentary with Oliver Stone. And there is a cheaper release that does not have the autograph poster. So this is one I might actually get eventually.
I've got like the Oliver Stone collection, the old DVD one. So this would be a decent upgrade for me, actually.
Nice. But they're seemingly big titles this month. They're putting out Anthony Quinn's Lion of the Desert in 4K. This also has Oliver Reed, and this is the Mustafa Akkad titles. And I say titles because not only are they doing that, they're also doing The Message, which a lot of people have been waiting on. I think these were like soft announced last year, and we're just finally getting them.
That's a big one for my house, especially The Message.
Right.
The Message is it was a kind of a passion project for him, and it was the one where basically it's the Muslim film, the same as you get like a lot of the Christian like films like The Robe and all that stuff like that.
Yep.
And but this is considered like to be like the one of the greats, and we own the Blu-ray special edition of this one. I'll probably upgrade to this one because the movie's actually really good. Anthony Quinn's in this, but I don't. If this is what I'm thinking of, because it's been a while since I've seen it. I don't. If he plays Muhammad, we don't see him because you don't see Muhammad in like in the Muslim. You don't. Whereas we pimp out like Christ in every picture and plate. They don't show like the in there. Not to get like weird, but with not get like political or whatever, but so when you watch, but it's to know because basically when you're watching this movie, because it is about Muhammad, but they do it, they don't show Muhammad,
Right?
And that's the reason. Hey there,
Flip says hi. Yeah, so both of those are coming in 4K, and knowing what they look like, they are probably going to look fantastic in 4K.
I can't remember Lion of the Desert that well, but I do like Anthony Quinn. Like pretty much anything Anthony Quinn, I'm down for. I watched Hercules: Legendary Journeys originally because of Anthony Quinn playing like Zeus.
Nice. And then they're putting out Pompo the Cinephile. This is from 2021. Not much to say about this one. It's a G Kids title.
Is it? Because when I looked at it, I thought, is this like one of those? Is this a hentai type thing? Because of the picture there.
As far as I'm aware, Shout Factory has not released any hentai.
Damn, man, there's a label that's what.
But this is maybe the one that people are talking about the most. They are putting out on July 12th the $6 Million Man, the complete series, all on Blu-ray. And the big thing is that this is, let me pull it back up. Oh, no, it is here. This 33 Blu-ray set includes all 99 episodes, the 3 pilot films, 3 reunion films, and bonus crossover episodes of The Bionic Woman.
So the crossover episodes are are interesting. You're going to get to hear the star, Lee Majors, sing the song "Jamie." You won't forget it. Trust me on that one. I have the Time Life $6 Million Man set. It's one of the prized pieces in my collection. $6 Million Man was one of the very first things that I ever saw on television as a kid. And I remember in black and white, I remember the Bigfoot episode. I'm not sure if it was the Jack Cassidy one or it was the Andre the Giant one, but there's a couple different ones. There's one where he's fighting Bigfoot and he rips off Bigfoot's arm, and it's a robot, like an android. So spoiler alert for a series from early 70s. But I'm excited about this. I'm a huge $6 Million Man fan. I love my TV stuff. I doubt it'll have all the features that the Time Life did for one particular reason. Time Life are extremely tight with their features. So whenever it's put out, like companies are looking for new features because Time Life are like, nope, you're not getting ours. It's happened on several releases. But this is the first time it's gotten a Blu-ray release, as far as I know. I had these all on DVD when the new DVDs came out. And then I went to a local shop and I saw the Time Life set, and I gave my cousin my other DVD releases, and I kept the Time Life one. It's so good.
I don't know. I don't love the $6 Million Man. I think I probably need to watch it again. It's been a long time since I've watched it.
Like it starts out very different. Like the films. Did you see the pilot films? Like it's more of a James Bondian type spy.
Right.
When it starts, and it becomes more into like what it becomes like more, I guess, the pedestrian type thing. Now, much like the He-Man She-Ra thing, $6 Million Man is really good. Bionic Woman, it's better because of the basic fact that they were able to smooth out those rough edges that were in the original series when they put the spinoff out. That and I'm sorry, Lee Majors, the $6 Million Man with the mustache. It's just not the same, man.
Next up, we got from Scorpion. We were talking about Scorpion right before we went live. And obviously, they are a partner label of Kino now, so it's going to be able to be bought from Kino. They're putting out Where the Lilies Bloom from 1974. New 2K Master on this. I know literally nothing about this. Harry Dean Stanton's in it, though. Rance Howard. I don't know anything. Have you seen this one?
I think so. Speaking of a movie that seems like out of place for the company, this is different for Scorpion. I'm interested because, again, if I remember it correctly, it's like it's a drama. I don't think it's a comedy. I think this is.
It even says right here, a young woman struggles to keep her family together against all the odds in this deeply felt drama from producer Robert B. Radnitz.
So it's going to be, again, if you're into this type of movie, it's definitely a good one, and it's well known, but I can't remember anything about it right now. I love the
next one. We have all kinds of Kino titles that were announced the last couple days. It was just crazy. So this is from 1953. We're getting The Mississippi Gambler. This has it's directed by Rudolph Mattei, and it's starring Tyrone Power, Piper Laurie, and Julie Adams. Piper Laurie, always great at what she does. I've never seen this one, though.
I don't remember this one either, but I love this cover, and I love that. Meet the fabulous Mark Fallon. His game is fancy women. His fate is Lady Luck. How can you not love that? How can you not love that? Piper Laurie's great in everything she's ever done. I love Piper Laurie.
Good stuff. Pre-orders for the upcoming Creepshow Anthology Media Book Collection from Cinemuseum will be live on May 7th at 2:30 p.m. Italy time. This is less than 1,000 units. There are 999 of them being printed, so be prepared if you want this one. An interesting thing, when they originally announced this had Creepshow, Creepshow 2, and for the first time, Creepshow 3 on Blu-ray, and everybody whined that they were getting Creepshow 3, so they took Creepshow 3 out and gave us just desserts instead. Now, I get why people don't like Creepshow 3, but it would have been so nice to have them all together and finally have the third one on Blu-ray, even though it's not great.
How much is this one, by the way?
This will probably be way more expensive than it should be. This will probably be like $120 release.
Yikes. Okay, no. But here's the thing. Just Desserts is a better release. If they had to choose, if they could put Just Desserts and Creepshow 3 on there as maybe like a bonus feature,
Yeah.
yes. But if you're going to choose between Just Desserts and Creepshow 3, Just Desserts deserves to be on there way more than Creepshow 3 does, because Just Desserts is a documentary like about the films, and Creepshow 3 is literally somebody that bought the rights to it and made a bastardization with the name Creepshow 3 that has nothing to do with Creepshow. And I get it, like, because the OCD in me, like, would want it. I own Return to Sleepaway Camp, truly one of the worst slasher sequels to ever be made. Poor Felissa Rose having to do that. But I mean, most unlikable leads ever. But yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm okay with Creepshow 3 not being around. Have you seen it?
I have years ago, and I know it's not great, but it would be nice to have it in high def. There's a big uptick on those that.
I don't know though. Would you really need that in high def? Like there's nothing really in Creepshow 3 that could really.
I'd rather give it another chance in high def than watching in some like Tubi VCR quality.
Well, yeah, but a DVD release is good too for that one. To be honest with you, I just don't want people to like go out there and spend like their hard-earned money in Creepshow 3.
Oh yeah, definitely don't do that. Yeah, I was just saying if it was going to be tossed in for something, and it was I'm a big fan of like worldwide Blu-ray debuts. That sort of thing is a big deal for me.
But Just Desserts, it's your documentary.
Well, and we already have that, and I love Just Desserts. I already own it. That Just Desserts is great. Messiah of Evil. This is an interesting thing. So, Diabolic DVD posted a picture with this new art from Messiah of Evil on their Twitter a couple weeks ago, and yes, and some. Okay. We were speculating that we might be getting a 4K, and I was excited because this is one of the best movies ever. This movie is incredible.
It's awesome.
And unfortunately, it is not that. Now, first of all, the Code Red release had been difficult to find for quite some time. So what they are doing, Code Red and Diabolic work together. They are re-releasing Messiah of Evil. It's the exact same disc and everything. And now it'll have a fancy Diabolic exclusive slipcover. And they're also selling this shirt. Now, if you want the disc, the slipcover, and the shirt, it's $52, which honestly, because you're getting a movie and a t-shirt, that's not crazy price.
No, not really.
However, if you just want the t-shirt and the slipcover because you've already had the movie, you can just buy those two for $30. So when I first saw that, I didn't know about that second option. And I just, why are we re-releasing this just for a slipcover and a t-shirt? But because they're offering that alone, I think that's pretty damn cool.
So I've only got an old release of Messiah of Evil. I hate this is coming out right now because I can't buy it.
Right.
But I would definitely buy this. Because, guys, yeah, he's right. This is a really good film.
Yeah.
And that is a nice t-shirt. Like $50 for the movie and the t-shirt. Like a slip's a slip. It's cardboard.
Right.
But a t-shirt you can wear. You're not going to wear a slip around, but you wear a t-shirt. And t-shirts, you buy anything from like any of the companies like Terra Threads or any of the t-shirt companies. They cost a bit. So it's definitely. And if it's a good quality t-shirt, which I'm sure it'll be, then fantastic. Especially the fact that Diabolique is doing it. If this was just Code Red on their own, man, I'd be on. But
I agree there.
But since Diabolique is with it, then I trust them more, because I trust Diabolic DVD way more than I trust Code Red on their own.
And keep in mind, if you have that old disc, there's literally it's the exact same thing. It's the same case, it's the same disc, it's the same art. All of that is the same. The only thing that might be added here is the slipcover and the shirt. So if you've already got the movie and you don't care about the slip and the shirt, you're done. You're good.
But if you want the slip and you want and the shirt's there, that's a great option to put out for people.
Yeah, and $30 for a slipcover and a shirt. I mean, that's a very fair price.
That's a great price, and like even on. Oh, okay, Tom. But
you're still going. Sorry.
No, I definitely recommend it. If you don't own it, I definitely recommend it.
Time Out of My Mind is coming from Kino. This is from 1947. Brand new 2K Master. New commentary with Kat Ellinger on this. Yeah.
and then you got to buy it. Because we see Cat Ellinger, like, it doesn't matter what the movie is, you're just gonna have to buy it.
It's
Like,
true.
one of my most hated films in the world is the Serbian film. Truly hate that movie. But if Cat Ellinger did commentary, I'd probably buy it.
You just woke up my friend John, who was watching earlier. He's going to come out here and defend it because it's one of his favorite films.
Sweet strong.
Next one from Kino, we are getting Moment to Moment from 1966, brand new 2K Master. Do you know about this one?
Gene Seberg, Honor, no, but the cast is really interesting to me. I think I've seen this one though. Gene Seberg, Honor Blackman, I guess famous for James Bond, and of course the Avengers. But yeah, I love the covers on these. These are freaking fantastic.
Yep. And this one, just for the record, we don't know if this is the cover. The way Kino has been doing it, they've been posting a poster shot and saying, this is coming soon, and then they release the art later. So hopefully they're able to get art like this, because this is the exact sort of thing that's enticing for me.
Yeah, like, this is what I want. Don't give me a cover with this, like, their faces on it. I don't see that. Yeah, no, this is, and to be honest with you, I'm at a point in my collecting life right now where I'm looking a lot more towards these style of films.
Yeah,
that they're becoming way more attractive to me. I've gotten so much crazy stuff over the years that I'm like, I got to get some normal stuff in my collection. So Kino's become very intriguing for a lot of their releases with me. Kino's become very good for that stuff. I'm a lot more excited now that, like, Vinegar Syndrome and Severin are putting out some different releases than they normally put out.
Yeah,
that makes me happy. But yeah, these type here, they're just good movies. I mean, like, who doesn't like sit? Well, I do. I'm a big geek. Sit down sometimes when you got a free time. You got turn on TCM and just like watch. I just like watch what no matter what comes on, just watch it. I do that all the time, actually, when I got time off, and that's very rare right now. But when I have some time to myself, I'll turn on TCM and I'll just start watching. I got like a backlog of TCM movies that I've gotten, like a PVR, that I need to watch.
I don't have TV, or I probably would. Next up, this is probably the biggest one that they announced this week. Brand new 2K Master coming for My Man Godfrey from 1957 with David Niven, June Allison, Eva Gabor, and Martha Heyer. This is one I'm pretty sure you've seen. I feel
this
like
is a true classic.
Yeah, I feel like I've talked to you about this one.
I love this film. So yes, buy it. Like, if you don't own this film, yeah, like, it's got, look at the cast. It's a classic film. I don't think anybody's ever going to say, well, man, that one let me down. No, this is a really good one.
I think we are nearing the end here. We got just a few left. Cohen Film Collection. This is a partner label of Kino. They are putting out Natalie from 2006. And I don't know anything about this, but I've heard that it's pretty good.
I think I've seen this. If it's the one I saw, I liked it. And Menu a Bear?
Could be. Flicker Alley is putting out The Silent Enemy. Wow, that is an error. This is not from 1990. This is from 1930, and I fat fingered that when I was typing this in. This is a very old silent film, and this is done in partnership with the Blackhawk Films Collection. New restoration of the film, and this is looking to be a pretty dang great release. The big thing here is that they had actual indigenous actors in this, and that at the time was very uncommon.
That's this one really. My family bore Mi'kmaq, so yeah, this one's really interesting to me. Anytime I can see indigenous actors in films, especially right now, too. There's like a growing indigenous film that's coming up, and it's kind of exciting me. I spoke to a guy that was was in film school, and he wants to make. And it's indigenous. He wants to make a indigenous horror film that he was working on, and I really hope it comes to pass, because that excites me. But this 1930, oh my God, this is a snapshot. It's history.
Yeah, I don't know how I had that show 1990 there. Let's see. I think we got one or two more, just a few.
Oh, yeah.
Studio Canal have announced a brand new line that they're just calling Cult Classics, and they're releasing High Crime from 1973, Extreme Prejudice from 1987, and Kill Them All and Come Back Alone from 1968. Extreme Prejudice. I am willing to stake my life that this is the exact same scan as going to be coming out on the Vestron video release when that comes out finally. And I am willing to bet that these other releases, I don't think this one has another release yet, but if so, I bet somebody else gets this soon too.
Enzo,
Yeah,
you got to buy the Enzo because
two
you know,
Enzos.
yeah, and it's gonna be great stuff. You know, it's gonna be great when once his releases. High Crime. I don't remember High Crime very well right now. Do you remember this one?
I've never seen High Crime. I know that for a fact.
Who stars in it? Do you know?
It is Franco Nero.
Oh, then guys, right there, it's the man himself. It's Franco
Yeah.
Nero. Him. You see Franco Nero's name, see George Hilton's name, you buy it. Yeah.
And then let's see, we got the last one of the week, Planet of the Vampires, the Bava title. This is getting a new release from Kino with a brand new 2K master. And what's odd is when this was first announced as coming soon, this was announced as getting a 4K restoration. So I'm not sure what changed there. New audio commentary by Kim Newman and Barry Forshaw, which is really cool. Kim Newman is great. The other commentary that was done previously by Tim Lucas is also still there. And then they've got the trailers from Hell with Joe Dante and Josh Olson on there. And they also have reversible art, like was on their first release of this. And then this new art.
I like the old art better. But this is a fantastic film. And the one thing I like to say to people is when you watch this movie, go back and look at pictures of the first X-Men film that came out by Bryan Singer. Because the costumes that the guys wear, the space costumes, are so reminiscent to the X-Men costumes in the first X-Men film. It's got this black leather look to it. Have you seen this film?
I have, yeah.
Have you noticed? Did you notice it?
Yep.
The first time we watched it, we were looking at it and we're like, I seen this years ago, but I didn't. X-Men was around back then. So me and Hinder watching it, we're like, we can't get over it. We're looking at it. Do you notice that? She's like, yeah. It's like X-Men. She's like, yeah, X-Men. I got this release. New commentary. I can't upgrade for commentary alone. I know it's a new scan, but the last scan was gorgeous too. So, but if you don't have it, grab it. It's a really good film.
Yep, and it's Bava. If you've never given a deep dive to Bava, you really got to. And if you're in the U.S., Kino is the way to go. They have so many of Bava's releases. Arrow obviously has a lot in the UK, and great stuff. Really, really easy director to get into as well. There's so many different styles, so many different titles, so many different just feelings that you can get from all of those.
Yeah. Now this one here never got an Arrow release. This one, as far as I know, it's only got a Kino release. Bava, though, for some of his releases, if you're region free, go Arrow, because the difference is that sometimes there are 2 or 3 different versions of a Bava film.
Yep.
If you buy the Arrow release, all versions are on that release. If you buy the Kino release, you're going to buy 2 to 3 different releases to get the film. The Girl Who Knew Too Much, Evil Eye, separate releases. Black Sabbath got different releases as well.
Let's see. Next thing we normally do is talk about what is coming out next week, in case you have forgotten or it got past you. Next week, we are getting Jurassic Park. All of the 4K releases are getting standalone releases. The Alfred Hitchcock Classics Collection 4K Volume 2 is coming out. Scream Factory, The Ghost in the Darkness, and Cursed. Those are shipping now. A lot of people have gotten those already. Treasure of the Four Crowns from Kino in 3D is coming out. Criterion's Mr. Klein. I believe this is pronounced Miklos Jankso title, the collection from Kino. That is one that I'm really interested in. I've not seen anything from him, but the trailers for those look really good. The Mechanic with Bronson from Scorpion is getting a wide release. 2 for the Money from Shout Select. I think that's pretty much it. Cinderella from Full Moon. I don't love Full Moon much anymore. The Carrie Treatment from Warner Archive. Exposure from Scream Team releasing. That's one I like to highlight a little more. It's a decent film. It's had a previous release, but it's getting a wide release. Son of Samson from Kino. The Killer Elite from Kino. All kinds of good stuff. I don't know if you've seen this. The Dark Knight of the Scarecrow 2. Did you see the trailer for that they VCI put out?
2?
Yeah,
No, I did not even know that was a thing. And
it's a modern movie. It is bad. It is so bad. They start the trailer with a guy in the movie wearing a VCI Entertainment hat. That's how bad it is.
see this, I'm not down with Dark Knight the Scarecrow. By the way, guys, the first film,
Incredible.
freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
There's more. The Deflex. There's more Ultraman releases coming out. Maybe Ultraman Mabius is next, so it's the anniversary release, and that'll be out this month. I think I'm getting that this month. But there's some good releases here. That second Hitchcock set, the 4K one, that's got Shadow of a Doubt on it, which is by far and large, I'm going to say it right now, one of his best movies of all time. Cursed, I'm going to say it, it's underrated. Cursed is underrated.
It's underrated, but God, is the CGI bad in it.
It is horrible. But again, did you remember that? What's the one that Michael Pare did? Done by Eric Red. I got in my collection. Names escape me. When you guys will know it. But that one had horrible CGI too. But was a better film than this.
Yeah.
But no, this is a fun film. There's a lot of decent actors in this movie. Treasure of the Four Crowns. I'm pretty sure Brian has this one. Brian Sauer just discs.
Yep.
Gorgeous looking release. It looks like they put some out separately. Marnie's there separately. Are they all coming out separately, or
they're all coming out individually as well? But that's the crazy thing, is you can buy the collection for like $45 or $50, or you can buy them all individually for $20. So if you are interested in even just a couple of them, buy the collection.
Do you have the first set?
I do, no. How did I? Oh, that's what they did. So the first one, they put out the 4K steelbooks through Best Buy first, and then they released the collection. And I'd already had the first two steelbooks, and they all matched. So I said, I really like the way these look together. I'll just get the couple others for this, because I didn't see them putting out a second collection.
What did you think? Did you think that the 4K upgrade was worth it?
Oh, absolutely. The Hitchcock films look amazing in 4K.
Because I have the Blu-ray set of the big Hitchcock set, which I'm sure you probably got too. So I want to get them, but I don't. It's doubling over. So
it is. Yeah.
Any new features?
I don't think there are any new features on any of them, if I'm remembering right.
It might be this set has what? Shadow of a Doubt,
Saboteur, Marnie. What else was on there? Saboteur, Shadow of a Doubt, The Trouble with Harry, Marnie, and Family Plot.
You can probably get the Saboteur and Shadow of a Doubt on their own, guys.
Yeah.
The other titles are okay, Hitchcock titles, but I'll be honest with you, they're not the highest quality.
Oh yeah, they're second tier by far.
Yeah, they're third tier.
That's true.
Yeah. Second tier is like Frenzy and stuff like that, which I love. I actually love Frenzy. I think it's highly underrated and the most close to what Hitchcock would have done if they would have unshackled him a bit. But yeah, the Cinderella release, I think that's an older full moon title, like 70s ish.
Yeah,
so that might be watchable as opposed to the new stuff, which it hurts me because I was going to open up a comic shop at one point, and I actually one of the first things I did was I called a bunch of different distributors, and I called Full Moon, and Full Moon actually won the actresses actually at the time that answered the phone, and I was getting Full Moon cards and a bunch of Full Moon, I think that's comics at the time that were out. So, and I was going to get some of the Full Moon VHS. Oh, but unfortunately, the store didn't come to pass, which is a shame. But I used to love when I was in college. Full Moon, they were the company that every weekend when there was a Full Moon release, a new one out, you fought to get that release. And if I was in my first year, I had a house and I lived with 4 roommates. But my second year, I was in dorm, and we would go and we would rent. We'd make sure that we pre-rented the Full Moon movie that came out, and we'd sit back and we watch the subspecies and all the kind of the crazy fun stuff.
Trancers and
Trancers. And the Doll Man, 13 inches with an attitude.
Oh man. So good week of stuff coming out. Lots of announcements this week. There's so much stuff happening. One thing I wanted to highlight, I put out a video yesterday letting everybody know that May for me is going to be the month of Vinegar Syndrome, and my first video for that is dropping tomorrow afternoon, and it is a very fun one. It's not one that people have had a lot of access to, so I will say that much. It's really, really great. If you're curious in some of the partner labels, I've got some interesting stuff coming out this month for you. Even though it's all Vinegar Syndrome, there are partner label stuff that's going to be on sale as well. So highlighting as much of that as I can. I think we can probably call it a night, Aaron. I think we did it.
We've made it through. And D-Flex, yeah. So Ultraman Mabius is a DVD release, but it does include all the specials that was done that year. Mabius was the year. I think it was like the 40th year for Ultraman. So it was a big release.
I appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time and giving your expertise to all of this. That this is there's a lot of stuff that you give context to, and that's why me and my wife both call you the professor, because there's so much to learn from you.
It's my pleasure, and I always love coming on here. It's always a fun ride, and I always find stuff that I don't know that's going to be released. So I'm making me spend money sometimes. I used to do that to people. Now you're doing it to me, man. You're making me spend money that I didn't think I was going to.
I do my best. Thank you for everything. If anybody has any questions, put them in the description or in the comments below. You know I'm here, happy to answer. And as I always say, from one collector to all of you, have a good night. We'll see you next Thursday, and lots of videos coming out between now and then.